It is. Guess what day it is? Huh? Anybody? Julie, hey, guess what day it is? Oh, come on, I know you can hear me. Mike. What day is it, Mike? Leslie, guess what today is?
It's hump day.
Woo-hoo!
Wendy Bell Radio is live.
Hey, good morning. What's going on? Happy hump day. That is today. Brock, what's today?
Hump day.
It is hump day.
Wow.
I know. Sorry, I kind of botched it.
Kind of.
How's everybody doing? Well.
I got a challenge coin from Dave from a
Oh,
cigar
how
shop.
nice. I love that.
That's pretty cool looking.
I have
It's got a cigar on it.
Sorry, guys. I've got giant hair today.
Thank you, Dave.
Yes, that was very nice. I love going to the P.O. box and having the mail be for Brock. That's wonderful.
Oh, it happens so frequently.
It does happen so frequently. How's everybody? What's going on out there? Okay, let's see what we got to talk about today. Well, we got Jeffrey Epstein, right? I don't know if that really worked the way they wanted it to work. Did that really work? I mean, they're like, yeah, we need to release all of this. And Donald Trump's like, I don't know. And they're like, no, we do, because you're probably a pedophile. And he's like, right. The same way I lusted after E. Jean Carroll. Right? I mean, Can we just be honest about this? No, you can't, because truth is a 4-letter word. Not allowed to say it. It is like Lord Voldemort of words.
Yeah, say it 3 times and it appears.
Don't tell the truth. So yeah, Epstein, you got Stacey Plaskett news. I want to know why Corey Mills is supposedly at risk of getting censured. Does somebody know out there? Do you guys know what the story is with that? Because I do not. As we get going, let me tell you about Lean. It's not just Lean, though. It's everything that Brickhouse Nutrition has marketed right now, and their products are phenomenal. You know, Field of Greens. You know, this is the whole organic superfood drink mix that's all these whole organic fruits and vegetables specifically designated to affect parts of your body. Fan-flippin-tastic. Like literally the guarantee, if you don't hear from your doctor, oh my gosh, whatever you're doing, keep doing it. They'll give you your money back. Plus, they have Lean, which is their #1 dietary supplement. This is a huge tool for you if you're not willing to go and get a bunch of shots to lose weight. You don't want to be addicted to that all your life. Try Lean. Lean is great. They also have something called creatine, and it's creatine specifically for women so that we get less squishy. You have a little bit more of your lean toned shaped body. That's one of the things. All of this stuff, every Brickhouse product from Better Sleep to Superior Collagen, 30% off, huge Black Friday sale. That's the story. Hurry, because these Black Friday deals go quickly. So please visit brickhousesale.com. Save 30%. You don't have to enter any code, I don't think. Just brickhousesale.com. I love it. I love them. All right, so put on your tinfoil hat. What's going to be the next shoe to drop, Brock? What's going to be the thing?
I think you're going to see
There's a thing.
people start to come out and lawyer up. And there's going to be a lot of lawyers getting a lot of work because there's going to be a lot of people in these files that have nothing to do with Jeffrey Epstein other than they were at a function with him. I think you're going to see a lot of innocent people.
So Alan Dershowitz was named in all of this, and I've spoken to him. Now, I don't know if he's lying or not, but he's like, look, I was his attorney. I was Jeffrey Epstein's lawyer. So, of course, you're going to find my freaking name on his stuff.
Right.
But making that a trip on the Lolita Express with a visit out to his psycho island, where God knows what Bill and Hillary Clinton were doing, or Barack Obama was doing. See, nobody cares about Bill Clinton, which I find so interesting, like the biggest dirtbag. And he's still revered by this party that doesn't understand. You blame Donald Trump for what we know demonstrably Bill Clinton did. And yet you're cool with him coming out and flushing out fundraisers for you? What? Would you want Bill Clinton anywhere freaking near you? No, and his psycho wife, around whom people just unalive. Right? If we're going to be dumb about it, let's just say that. I do. They disappeared. You know what? I'll throw you in the trash. Who did I say I was going to throat punch or throw you down the stairs on Newsmax? I'm like, stop talking. I'm going to throw you down the stairs.
That'd be Dick Durbin.
Dick Durbin. Dick Durbin.
I think you're going to see Republicans' names on that list too. I think you're seeing a lot of people retire trying to get away from it.
Yeah,
I don't think it's going to get away.
Bill and Hillary all of a sudden going to become very ill. Bill's going to become very old, very ill, very fast. I just couldn't possibly go and appear before your House Oversight Committee. I'm sorry. Really? We'll come to you.
I think you're going to see a lot of people.
It's crazy, you guys. 1.13. I'm coming in late. 1.13. Good morning. Let's hit 1.5. Let's go.
Closer to the camera.
Mm-mm. Okay. Why? Do you see my bags under my eyes? Is that what you're saying?
Look, the flag doesn't look as big.
4, 3, 2, 1. Welcome to your daily dose of facts to fight off the liberal gaslighting.
You can be in the middle of a hurricane.
You have sanctuary in the city of Chicago.
Or you can be on a calm day. North is still north. You could be in a thunderstorm.
I am angry. We are not going back. Not ever.
North is still north. People can yell at you.
The hell with the Supreme Court. We will defy them.
North is still north. It doesn't change fundamental things. And in this business, right is still right, even if you stand by yourself.
We don't get fooled again. No.
Live across the fruited plain and from sea to shining sea, we're converting the Marxist left 1 hour at a time on the Wendy Bell radio program.
Oh, hello, America. Greetings to you all across the beautiful fruited plain. Welcome home to the Wendy Bell radio program. Common sense, conservative values, no lies, no bunk, no junk, no trash, no swamp, no sewer rats, just honest, good, demonstrable facts. How about that to start your hump day? We're delighted that you're here, wendybellradio.com. If you want to follow along the live video stream, we invite you to become part of our family. We've got thousands and thousands of people all over the place hooking up with us, joining the live video, joining the chat, and moving this country forward, because that is exactly what we're doing. So don't be dismayed by anything Jeffrey Epstein. Yesterday's developments, very interesting. We're going to talk about that. We're going to talk about Bill and Hill believing that they are above the law, and all of this, including Saudi Crown Prince Mohammed bin Salman giving a little ante-up of his investment into the Make America Great Again brand. Yes, it's all here. We're delighted you're with us. Welcome home. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. Amen. So I worked with a producer many, many years ago here in the Pittsburgh area. I was on TV here for about 18 years. And actually, he's an editor. He's my favorite editor. Great guy. And he would gauge the wellness of the country, the financial, economic viability of the country and stocks and whatnot, by following J. Crew stock on the stock exchange. And I was like, really? Why? And he's like, well, I could tell how people were feeling about their disposable dollars by how that stock would go up or down. And in good times, people will go out and drop, what, $90 for a pair of khakis, right? And when things get a little lean, you can see the tightening of the belt. I was like, well, that's kind of an interesting strategy. I kind of follow Target. I pay attention to what's going on at Target. And I want to tell you something, because what is going on with Target and what this company needs is exactly what's going on more broadly here in the United States. So this company is totally beleaguered. This company, billions and billions of valuation, stores all over the planet. You would say, how do you swing and a miss on a brand like that, where you come in as a low-cost clothier, home furnishings, and all of the other extra necessities? How do you swing and miss, particularly during an economic downturn? Well, you know what you do is you put all your eggs in a really stupid basket, and then you try to sell it to the American people as this is the next chapter of American history. I'm talking, of course, about all of the millions of dollars, the pledges, $2.5 billion pledged through 2025, through this year, all wrapped in the diversity, equity, and inclusion bubble. But see, all of that was predicated on this overarching narrative that we are inherently a racist people, and that there are certain people out there, Black people, who need extra opportunities. They need extra doors to open. They need extra. They're not interested in equal. It's about extra. I fundamentally disagree with that. And the way Target went about it was the beginning of its demise. Anheuser-Busch, same sort of story. Nike has flirted with this, as has Starbucks, as has that safe company, whatever it was, Liberty Safe, right? So now, as they've pulled back their DEI initiatives at this monster store, Target, people are pissed. Sales are down, and they have been down. In fact, I just checked. Did you know that shares of Target stock have plummeted 35% this year? In fact, it was 33% up to September, and that has wiped out $20 billion in shareholder value before we even got to the end of the year, before the fourth quarter was over. It was crazy, and it's getting worse. So they're pulling back these initiatives, and some Black people in the Black community, I should say, are wondering, well, why aren't you going to be pledging to these diversity initiatives anymore? You're not going to partner with Black small businesses. You're not going to give opportunity for Black entrepreneurs. And Target is saying, you know what? It didn't work. It didn't work. We didn't get any more sales. In fact, we got robbed during the George Floyd nonsense. We lost $1 billion in theft. We've lost, God knows, $20 billion in just market share. Everything we're doing is wrong. We're putting, LGBT stuff on our infant clothes. We're signing up for DEI stuff that isn't improving sales. We're going to pull back. We're going to regroup, and here's our strategy. You want to know what the strategy is? The CEO is retiring. He's resigning, right? The COO is moving into his position, and the CEO is bouncing to the chairman of the board position. So what you're basically doing is you're playing a shell game. You're not getting any new ideas. You're not understanding the market. You're not understanding how people feel about your store and how quickly you went to jump with the George Floyd story, put your eggs in the BLM basket, pretend that you cared, and then only pull it all back and leave a community wondering, well, exactly what do we mean to you? And now there's a new policy that from 10 to 4, if you're anywhere near a Target representative, notice the khaki pants and red shirt if you're unfamiliar, they've got to make eye contact with you. They have to smile at you. They need to say something warm and fuzzy to you. Can you be dumber as a company than Target? Well, yeah, you could. You could be Anheuser-Busch and put a transvestite guy or a tranny guy on a can of beer that he doesn't drink, but a lot of hardworking guys in America do, and then be baffled when nobody wants to partner with your brand. See, that was the trajectory of America. And Donald Trump came in and he's like, I don't believe we need to give extra to anybody, let alone the Black community that is entirely able to do wonderful things on its own. And by giving them extra, what are we doing? We're sending a message of some semblance of inequality, and we're trying to rig the system. People want authentic. People want good prices. People want dependable stock on the shelves. People want friendly retailers to deal with, but they want truth. They want consistency. They want a company that stands for something. And, quite honestly, as we roll into the holidays, you know what we want, no matter what you look like, the color of your skin? You want to be able to afford Christmas for your family. So now there's this big boycott being called. Don't shop at Target from Thanksgiving until December 1st. We'll show them. And the company is freaking out, slashing its prices. I've heard 30% across the board. Will it be enough? You know what? I don't care about Target. But it is a great analogy for the United States, because that's exactly what Joe Biden and that administration did. They fell at the altar of suck, came around with some ideas they thought sounded good, but had no intention of executing, flailed, watched the name brand USA go into the toilet, become the laughing stock of the planet, to the degree that Joe Biden got a fist bump by the Saudi prince when he met him and begged for oil. Look, we've got a corporate CEO right now, and his board of directors is on the money. They understand what it takes, from security to safety on the streets to getting people invested and invigorated by the name America. And it's happening. You can't shuffle people into different positions. You can't take your CEO, who's made terrible decisions, and bounce that individual to be the head of the board and then move up some underling to take his original spot. You need a new perspective, and the perspective is authenticity. Do one of something that sets you apart from everybody else. Own your brand, love your brand, promote your brand, defend your brand, encourage all people to come in. Don't kowtow to one individual or another based on some initiative that's blowing in the wind. Invest in your brand, invest in your people, and be authentic, because you know what? When people go to work and they feel like they're appreciated, they're compensated, they're doing something that matters to them, and there's benefit to them, you know what happens? You don't have to have a smile policy. You don't have to tell them, now go be nice to the customers, because they are proud to wear the red and khaki. I'm proud of the red, white, and blue. I'm proud of this country. I'm proud of this president. I'm proud of where we're going. Hey, Target, your people are screaming and starving to feel proud too. Wake up before it's too late. When we come back on the Wendy Bell radio program, nobody's above the law. Well, we're told that. Except apparently Bill Clinton and Hillary Clinton. Yeah, about that congressional subpoena. Yeah, we don't think so. I'm not really feeling it today. Tomorrow's not looking good either. Why is nobody talking about this? Well, we will, my friends, next on the Wendy Bell Radio Network. It's ridiculous. Ridiculous. And people are like, well, why aren't you giving to all these black causes? What are they doing for you? How are they benefiting you? How are we moving the needle? And Target realized real fast, they have not made money in 4 years, right? They found out real fast, maybe we shouldn't blow in the wind with our brand and follow whatever the next fad is.
I don't understand why companies feel they need to.
I don't either. You know what they want? You know what my black neighbors want? And they're not the only ones who shop there, for God's sakes, right? They want good prices.
Mm-hmm.
They want good prices. I want to go to my store. I want to walk to it. I want to bus to it. I want to drive to it if I have a car. I want it to be affordable. I want to get what I need, and I want to get home. That's it. I don't need chit chat, right? I do need Texas Bullion Exchange, WendyLovesGold.com. Do you know how many people were like, Wendy, you really shouldn't be showing gold coins to people because somebody might show up and they'll try to rough you up and get you.
I'm already here.
And I'm like, don't you worry about it. All precious metals have been safely deposited back in the deposit box. It's wonderful to partner with a company that I believe in that does something that is valuable. And that is to open your mind to the diversification of your savings. And so if you're invested in the stock market, which a lot of us are, that's great. But if you want to go beyond that and you want to invest in something that doesn't fluctuate with the whims of the market, that's gold. That's silver. That's platinum and palladium. That's wendylovesgold.com. And there are so many ways that Texas Bullion Exchange, when you go to wendylovesgold.com, helps connect you with the products that you want, that you need, that'll be beneficial for you. Because you're not like I am. I'm not like the next guy. It's individual. And they want you to individually save for the future and get peace of mind. Fantastic company. Love them. 855-927-5557. 855-927-5557. Texas Bullion Exchange. wendylovesgold.com.
I said this to you yesterday. Trump talks about messaging, and he talks about gas prices being at $2.50. He needs to tell people that's before your state gets a hold of it.
Yeah. Pennsylvania slaps like 79 cents onto that.
I think it's like 62 cents or something like that. And it's just like, so yeah, he's not wrong.
Yeah.
But hey, pick your states.
That's not what we're seeing.
Yeah. Pick your states and tell them, say, lobby your states to quit taxing the hell out of their gas.
That you are, in fact, above the law. What did Peter Navarro do to get basically rounded up and thrown in prison? What did he do? Wasn't he on a plane? Wasn't he on a plane and the agent stopped him, frisked him, put him in shackles? Right? What did Steve Bannon do? Did he break in somewhere? Did he kill somebody? Was he caught insider trading, making no. He was like, I'm not going to comply with a congressional subpoena for a wild goose chase to smokescreen for a stolen election that you tried to cover up with a made-up insurrection, a virus, a vaccine, and all of it. I'm not playing. And they're like, good luck with that. And to prison you go for 4 months. Why is the rule different for Bill and Hillary Clinton? We're all supposed to be the same. The Democrats tell us no one is above the law. I could have dragged that out of the archives and played 2 of the 5 minutes of that mashup of all of the media talking heads saying that and all the politicians. Gateway pundit headline: Bill and Hillary refuse to appear before House Oversight Committee for Epstein depositions. Like, why? Right? If you've got nothing to hide, and they've always said, there's nothing to hide. Well, we know darn well all about Bill. Isn't it so weird how they're on the left adamant to get anything to put Donald Trump's fingerprints anywhere near? We're right here. We've got evidence, photographs. You've got all of them. We've got flight logs. We've got everything. Bill Clinton was on that plane 17 times. Jeffrey Epstein visited Bill Clinton in the White House like 12.5 times. Like, do you guys think they were talking about football? Yeah, right. So Anna Paulina Luna, I could never say her name. I don't know what's wrong with me. She revealed Monday that Bill and Hillary are reportedly refusing to appear before the House Oversight Committee for their scheduled depositions regarding their association with Jeffrey Epstein. And we've all heard some really disgusting things about this couple. Clintons were among several high-profile political figures, including former U.S. attorneys general and ex-FBI directors. I'm going to say other ex-presidents as well. I hope that sure comes out. Subpoenaed in August 2025 as part of an expanded congressional investigation into the federal government's handling of the Epstein case. Hillary Clinton's deposition was originally set for October 9th. Bill's was scheduled for October 14th. Both were delayed at the request of legal counsel. I can't possibly get my people there. They're not working anymore, right? But we can't make it. It's not good for us. Meanwhile, if you were a January 6er or somebody even loosely affiliated with them, it wouldn't be beyond the pale for a large squad of FBI agents to show up in an armored vehicle, completely decked out in all of their stuff, to bang down your door and drag you out of the house in front of your wife and kids before the sun even came up. Bill and Hillary, well, we'll get back to you when it's more convenient. Really. James Comer said Bill Clinton is a prime suspect in the ongoing Jeffrey Epstein investigation, vowed to get answers about Clinton's frequent visits to Epstein Island. It's like such a mystery, right? The elephant in the room, the person who's looking right at you. It's the dog that doesn't bark, right? The criminal who the dog is familiar with. So when he sneaks into the house in the middle of the night, the dog doesn't bark. It's right there. It's Bill Clinton. I mean, like, what's the giant mystery? What are we worried about here? Just how many people in the Clintons, I don't know, pond are guilty too? Who knows? Bill and Hillary are refusing to appear. And notice how House Democrats suddenly have nothing to say about that. Anna Paulina Luna wrote on X. Epstein visited with Clinton, the White House, over 17 times. Bill has acknowledged traveling aboard Epstein's infamous Lolita Express plane over 20 times. I'm going to put a prediction out there, okay? I'm going to predict something terrible is going to happen to Bill or Hillary. They're just going to get very sick. Something. Yes, ladies and gentlemen, they can't possibly come in. They're just so fragile, and everybody's waiting. And we're going to be like, really? Because through a spokesperson, Bill claims he knew nothing of Epstein's sleazy activities, despite the 21 visits or whatever to the island and the 17 visits by Epstein. He had no idea. I had no idea. What are you even talking about? They had a great friendship. Bill and Hillary Clinton hid the true nature, in fact, of their friendship with Jeffrey Epstein for years. Does everybody know exactly what the true friendship is? Yes. If I was Bill, right, I'd try to get away from Hillary as much as possible, too. But let's be real. In a virtually unprecedented development, former President Bill Clinton and his wife, Hillary, will be forced to testify before Congress about their relationship with sex peddler Jeffrey Epstein. They think they can. They think they're above it. They think they will skirt it and avoid it the same way Hunter Biden thought he could. But karma has this really weird boomerang thing that happens. You ever felt it? Because when it comes back and hits you in the face, it's like, yeah, maybe I shouldn't have done that. James Comer, House Oversight, says, don't you worry about it. They will get the Steve Bannon treatment. And I'm going to end with the show. I'm going to end today's program with a little bit of that, which is fantastic. But when we come back, as the Clintons are hiding, the Epstein vote, House vote, everybody in the House of Representatives, save one, said, yep, release the Kraken. Do it now. Jim Jordan with the blistering rebuke of deranged Democrats who just obsess over Trump. Next on the Wendy Bell Radio Network. Kind of pushing it to the limit there. Sorry. So there you go. We'll find out what happens. I don't know.
Well, you know why Bill won't do it.
Well, he's guilty.
He can't plead the fifth.
He can't. He can't.
And since he did that stuff while being president,
I can't possibly answer your questions. And if he doesn't, he's supposed to go to prison. Right? It's not like, okay, let's try next Thursday. No, here's the deal. This is what you have to do. And if you don't do it, you are remanded. Bye-bye. We'll see you at Rikers.
Trump should send him his plane to bring him there. Be
Mm.
like, I'll give you a free ride. I'll pay for it.
Yeah, I know you're hurting in the cash flow. Not.
Yeah, your grift has been over,
Yeah.
so
My eyes are annoyed today. All right, let me tell you guys about Chef IQ. And look, Roger just got one of these as a gift for somebody. Well, his brother. Anywho, anywho, I want to tell you about Chef IQ Sense, and it's not just the only thing that's on sale right now at chefiq.com. 30% off site-wide. They've got the little mini oven, which I just bought. It was coming to my house for somebody in my life. Chef IQ just talked to me. Did you hear that? Literally, I'm holding it, and it just turned on. It must be my electromagnetic energy. Look, it turned on. It's so easy to use.
it's
Why?
like, quit teasing me. Use me.
Why would you like roll the dice with your Thanksgiving? Why would you roll the dice with an expensive piece of meat or just anything you're trying to cook? It's so nice to not be stuck at the grill or stuck in the kitchen looking at the oven, wondering when it's time to baste. All you do is you take out your probe, right? You're like, hi, I'm making a turkey. We're making it in the oven. I'd like it to be blah, blah, blah. And it's like, okay, insert your probe. And you say, perfect. Shows you where to put it. And it says, I see your probe. Okay. Put it in the oven, put the turkey in the oven, and press start. And that's it. And you're like, okay. And then your phone gives you little tips and pointers and like timing things. It's like, okay, 5 minutes before we rotate or baste or whatever. Then it tells you when it's cooked, tells you how long to let it sit out and rest before you carve it. And there's no mystery. And you're not stuck, shackled and chained to the kitchen. Happy Thanksgiving. 30% off. There's time to get this now. Why not? ChefIQ.com, promo code, promo code Wendy. 30% off site wide. I think it's kind of weird that Chef IQ knew I was talking about it.
I put
started talking.
French fries
Yeah.
in the oven yesterday, the Chef IQ oven. It's presets frozen
Mhm.
French fries. What kind of French fries are they?
Like curly
Yeah.
waffle fries.
Like straight cut fries.
It's that detailed.
Yes. And then or sweet potato fries. And then I hit start. And then it's like cling. Time to mix them up. They were fantastic.
Did it tell you it was time to have a little pigment on your skin?
No.
Okay.
They would say you were medium rare. Right?
That's very interesting. I'm excited. We have 6,300 people. We have 1.98 rumbles. Look at you guys go. Now, there's 2.5 minutes left. Do we have the ability to get to my favorite number at this hour?
7-7.
222.
Oh.
222. And then I usually love 277 at the top. What number are we in terms of follows, Brock?
We are 10 away from 74.7. If we average 125 new followers a day, we're going to hit 75.
And what happened to you people yesterday?
Yeah.
What happened to you? Because that was bananas. Almost as bananas. Okay, this is crazy. You guys ready? All right. I know a lot of you don't live in Pennsylvania, so you can't go to Morgane's Fitness. But if you can, Somerset and Cambria can. I want you to see the before and after of 90 days of dedicating yourself to losing weight and exercising. Look at the top. Let me see. Wait, hold on. Let me have it focus. Here we go. Right? I want you to see the picture of her wearing the pink shirt on the left.
Wow. Wow.
Look at that. Before.
That's
after.
huge.
That is huge. Look at that. She got curves again in the right spots. Holy mackerel. She lost, Kelly told me, she lost like 10 pounds of fat. Like 8 inches. Like 90 days. Like you could do it. You could do it without jabs. moregamesfitness.com. It's called 90 Ignite. Go. Somerset, Cambria counties, MORGAINZ fitness.com. That is,
You got a level 1 with curves.
God bless America. Do you? Okay.
Yeah, that's what men want, right?
Well, I mean, I don't think you want SpongeBob SquarePants, but I mean,
He's not my type.
some people have more than others. Morning and find you an article that succinctly told you what happened on the House floor yesterday. But it just kind of makes me angry that we are spending time opening this Pandora's box when who knows the ripple effect that's going to come out. But I think the Democrats are hoping for that because they need smoke. They need your eyes to be bloodshot and your vision to be cloudy so that you are more apt to forget what they've done over the last 4 years, which President Trump and this administration is working furiously to fix. And in the shortest of order, turn around so America is successful again. So we're proud again. So we're envied again. You know, it's been a while. And that was the plan. But I don't want to go into all this stuff about Epstein. I just want to tell you there was a floor vote, right? Everybody voted to release the Epstein files, whatever is able to be lawfully with things redacted, with the victims' names, et cetera, et cetera. Everybody but one, Clay Higgins. And I think Clay Higgins, Brock, wasn't his reasoning for voting against it was that Pandora's box was too risky and that people could be innocently ensnared in a very ugly storyline.
Yeah, he was basically saying that a lot of people who are just in an email and their names associated were in the same place as Jeffrey Epstein, that they're going to get ensnarled and it's going to cost them a lot of money, and he wasn't for that. It's not
guilt by association.
Yes.
That somehow your name is connected to that name. All that they want is to connect Donald Trump. If they could take down some high-ranking Republicans along with that, that's bonus. That's gravy. But Clay Higgins was like, you know what? I'm not going to play along. Okay. Well, the measure passed. I think it goes to the Senate. The Senate's got some stuff they want to tweak on it. Then they're going to send a revised bill of whatever back down to the House. The House got to chew on it. And if the House says yeah, and the Senate votes on it, Trump signs it, release the Kraken. Okay? What happens out of that, I have no idea. I've never been attracted to children. I don't understand sexual deviance. I don't understand pedophilia. I don't understand a mind that is driven mad because of sex and or perversion or pornography, but I'm not naive enough to believe that that's not a serious problem in this country. Jim Jordan did a beautiful job, and I listened to it. It's in its entirety. And I wanted to chop it off. I wanted to play it for you because he does a really nice job. I guess certain members have X amount of time. You can get up and speak before the vote, yada, yada. And so he did as chairman of House Judiciary. He stood up and he's like, you know what? I've watched this body ebb and flow, and I've watched the derangement that has settled in, this like insatiable hunger on the left to do whatever can be done to destroy President Trump. And he uses beautiful flashbacks that are very concise and applicable to this weird moment in time where we are. I don't understand the derangement. I don't understand why people just say, I hate him. I can't stand Donald Trump. And I'm like, I really don't understand you. But I want you to hear Jim Jordan. He says, before the vote, what Democrats really want to do, it's not for the victims, it's not for some healing, it's not for a greater good. It never is. It's to singularly damage Donald Trump.
We all support holding bad guys accountable, and we're all going to vote for this resolution. But I think a little perspective is important. Democrats have spent 6 months talking about Epstein, even though they had 4 years to do something about it. Now, why would they do that? Why would they do that? Maybe it's to go after President Trump. Never forget, they shut down the government for 43 days. They said, don't worry about our military, don't worry about air traffic controllers, don't worry about our economy, don't worry about American families. No, no, no. Close the government for a month and a half because it might hurt the president. For the past decade, there's been one constant for Democrats. One constant. Go after Trump.
Go after Trump. It's all we know how to do. It's not about bringing in investment. It's not about selling the brand. It's not about improving anything. It's about being Target, right? And falling apart, making all the wrong decisions because you're completely tunnel visioned. One thing, destroy Trump. I am a robot. It is all I know how to do. By the way, we can say that the Senate has unanimously voted to release all of the Epstein files. President Trump now just has to sign it. We expect him to do so. Audio soundbite number 2, Jim Jordan. He says, look, they have thrown everything at this man to destroy him. And he said something that I think is very appropriate. He says, you know what? Watching this, it's just sad. Listen.
They spied on his campaign. Then it was Mueller. Then it was impeachment 1. Then it was impeachment 2. Then it was all the lawfare. Alvin Bragg, Fonnie Willis, Letitia James. Then it was Arctic Frost investigation at the Justice Department, surveilling United States senators and congressmen, and a whole host of other Americans. Then it was Jack Smith and his gag orders and his raiding President Trump's home. Then it was a 43-day shutdown, and now it's Epstein. And by the way, the same party that did all that, they were also the ones who were texting with Mr. Epstein during a hearing where Michael Cohen was their witness in another effort to go after the president. Americans see through it all, and frankly, it's actually kind of sad. This obsession, this syndrome, this mindset that says we got to go after President Trump no matter what that they have.
And much like my analogy in the opening monologue about Target, putting its eggs in the diversity, equity, and inclusion basket, all Democrats have done is focus on destroying Donald Trump. Meantime, the Republican Party has been doing quite a bit. We've been rolling back a lot of the problems caused by the prior administration. We've been focused on the brand, USA. And listen to what we've done while you've been in a tailspin.
President Trump said he was going to cut taxes, and he did. President Trump said he would secure the border, and he did. President Trump said he'd get men out of women's sports, and he did. President Trump said he would make sure Iran doesn't have nuclear capability, and he did. And he said he would get the hostages out of Gaza back into Israel, and he did. All in 9 months. So I don't know what causes this mindset, this syndrome that the left has, but I know one thing. It is real.
And then he says, you know what? You all might not have paid attention to the nuances of what the Democrats did, leaking Epstein and Ghislaine Maxwell emails earlier this week. But he said, you know what? I've had a front row seat to all of it. Let me tell you exactly how that worked. And have we officially hit a new low for the Democratic Party?
Think about what the Democrats did last week. The Democrats released an email that the Oversight Committee had obtained from the estate, an email from Mr. Epstein to Ms. Maxwell. When the Democrats released it, they redacted the victim's name, something we all support, something everyone supports, except in this case, no court had ordered that name redacted, no agency had redacted it, and the estate didn't redact it, and the victim had already went public. So why black out her name? Why black out her name? Because she had said in her book and had testified under oath that she never saw any wrongdoing by President Trump. So think about what they did. In an email between two criminals, Mr. Epstein and Ms. Maxwell, in an email between two criminals, they hide the name of an individual who had went public and exonerated the president, and we know why, to distort and twist the message because they thought it might harm the president.
Isn't it amazing when you consider the people who have just thrown everything, including the kitchen sink, at President Trump? They want to stop success. They want to stop the saving and the rebirth and the golden age of America. They want to stop you from living freely and safely and to have financial success. They want you miserable, broke, addicted, and dependent on an ever-growing government that every single year needs more and more of your money until finally there is none to give. And Jim Jordan says, in conclusion, before the vote yesterday, America understands what is going on. They see, they know, trust me.
I think the American people see through it. They see through what the Democrats are doing. The American people know what this is. They know Democrats have nothing else to run on because of the success of this administration. So I say let's vote yes on this resolution, and then let's get focused on making sure we're doing what the American families elected us to do.
Isn't that refreshing? Sort of like Target. Do you think the new CEO, who's the COO, who's just failing into a new position, is this guy going to come in and say, look, everybody, gather around. Here's what we're going to do. What we've been doing is failing. We need to get back to the basics, back to the brand, back to the reason, the nuts and bolts that made us a staple in our communities. Is that going to happen, do you suppose? I don't. This is the one opportunity. We're at that crossroads. And stories like Epstein and all of the tangled web of nonsense around it simply threatens to take our eye off the ball. You have a president whose foot is on the gas, and he proved it last night. And we're going to talk about that sit down as he welcomed the Saudi crown prince to the White House. Pomp and circumstance, fighter jet flyover, the bells and whistles, the black tie dinner, all of it. But before we go there, you need to hear Stacey Plaskett. So Republican Ralph, I want to see who it is. Ralph Norman, yes. He brought up to a vote, hey, you know what? We need to censure Stacey Plaskett. She was texting with Jeffrey Epstein, a known sex offender, a known pedophile who was giving her tips on things to talk to Michael Cohen about, Trump's former attorney, while he was being basically grilled by Congress. We can't have this woman, Stacey Plaskett, anywhere near House Intelligence committees. So we put it to a vote. You hear what happened? What Republicans did? I've got that story for you next on the Wendy Bell Radio Network. So, yeah, I didn't see if any of you were getting details on, if you have any information on what they might have cut a backroom deal to save Stacey Plaskett the censure in exchange for not dumping on Corey Mills. So what I know about Corey Mills is some of the remarkable relief efforts that he has championed to fly into places and save Americans, be it from Israel or the Middle East or Ukraine or what have you. He's been all over. I don't know what their Corey Mills.
So it says the punishment for censure is a formal reprimand, most notably a public shaming. That's not for him, though.
Corey Mills, a Republican, faced a censure effort in 2025, which was formalized in House Resolution, blah, blah, blah. The resolution sought to censure Mills, but the effort did not lead to his removal from committee assignments. But it doesn't say. Mills was one of 4 Republicans who voted against censuring Ilhan Omar. So they have some backroom deals going on. Why? As a political move linked to a broader dispute, but those efforts have not been, but we don't know why. What are the specific allegations against Corey? I'm telling you, this perplexity is it's awesome.
Bee's knees.
Holy mackerel. Hey, before I forget, let me tell you quickly, Blood Flow 7. I got a wonderful email yesterday. And as always, I'm never prepared to tell you about it. But this is a woman, she says she's in her 70s. Let's see. Here we go. Hi, Wendy. Hi, Brock. Every time I see a doctor or a nurse and they take my blood pressure, it's always elevated to a worrisome level. So I would just tell them that I have white coat syndrome because when I check my blood pressure at home, it's always fine. Well, yesterday I had to go for my annual physical. I'm 70. I just took 2 Blood Flow 7s, the one with the triple action strength in the morning. My appointment was at 3:30 in the afternoon. Imagine my delight when my blood pressure was 124/70. No high blood pressure here. Thank you, Blood Flow 7, and thank you, Wendy. XXOO says Gina. Gina, that's a lovely message. Thank you. Bloodflow7.com/Wendy. I take it every day. So does Brock. I don't plan to stop. Stamina, focus, strength, no midday crash, no yawning, no barely dragging through, no more excuses. And the best sleep I've ever gotten in my life, specifically because Blood Flow 7, nitric oxide, the molecule that helps your blood vessels open up, more blood flow to your body, your brain, all over you. The effects you feel in a matter of hours. Bloodflow7.com/Wendy. And it's like a month, it's like less than $30. You want to try it? Try it. Try it with me. And then email me, wendybellradio@gmail.com. I want to know what you think. It changed me. And I don't want to go back. Simple. 2 capsules a day. I'm like, yeah, let's go.
8 away from 74.7.
Click the follow button. Hey, we're close to 277. We need 377 people. Super close. But there's 8 of you who can also click the follow button and push us over to the next benchmark. I'm so excited. You guys, we're going to hit this before Thanksgiving.
Someone's saying Corey Mills was accused by a former girlfriend of threatening to release intimate videos of her. Was they're all swore Tim Burton's the only.
If anybody says, quick, let's record this.
Yeah.
Just say no. Welcome back to the Wendy Bell radio program. So the House delegate, Stacey Plaskett, she represents the Virgin Islands. And she alleges it's because she represents the Virgin Islands and Jeffrey Epstein had that house, owned the island in the Virgin Islands, right? And that because he was her constituent, it was not unusual that he would be giving her money, campaign contributions. He would be encouraging his proxies and others in his employ to give to her as well. That's just normal campaign contribution stuff. There was nothing to see here. And about him texting her while she was, right, while she was getting ready to depose, if you will, Michael Cohen, about his Stormy Daniels, this and that, all this stuff going after President Trump in one of their witch hunts. Well, Ralph Norman, the Republican congressman, went before the House yesterday and he's like, look, this delegate, this representative, Stacey Plaskett, this is not somebody that we want knowing Intelligence Committee's secrets. She can't be on these committees. She needs to be formally censured. And I wanted you to hear the entirety of his suggestion. We'll tell you how it went down. But I want you to hear this guy make the case. Here's Representative Ralph Norman laying out the case for censuring Representative Stacey Plaskett.
Resolution 888, censoring and condemning Delegate Stacey Plaskett and removing her from the House Permanent Select Committee on Intelligence for conduct that reflects the discredibility on the House of Representatives for colluding with convicted felon and offender Jeffrey Epstein during a congressional hearing. Whereas Stacey Plaskett, the delegate representing the United States Virgin Islands in the House of Representatives, inappropriately coordinated in real time with convicted sex offender Jeffrey Epstein in a congressional hearing in February of 2019. Whereas Delegate Plaskett was actively coached by Epstein during the hearing, receiving instructions on specific lines of questioning, and was congratulated after the message by Mr. Epstein, good work. Whereas Jeffrey Epstein, the Speaker of the House is not in order.
The gentleman has the floor. The chair would again ask the body to please observe decorum and keep conversations to a minimum. The gentleman has the floor.
Whereas Jeffrey Epstein was a known convicted felony sex offender, having pled guilty and been convicted for procuring a child for prostitution and solicitation, a proselyte in a plea deal in 2008, and served a 13-month prison sentence. Whereas in the course of that investigation, the FBI compiled reports on dozens of confirmed minors who credibly alleged sexual abuse by Mr. Epstein.
That's huge. That is giant, and it is deserving. And so it comes up for a vote, and it's about to pass, and you know who foils it? The Republicans. You can't make it up. 3 Republicans, Mike Gallagher of Wisconsin, Michael Cloud of Texas, and Andrew Clyde of Georgia all voted against censuring Stacey Plaskett and removing her from her position on the House Intelligence Committee. Why ever would that be? Why would they be working with Democrats to avoid the rightful, one could very reasonably argue, censuring of Plaskett? Well, let's hear Anna Paulina Luna. Congresswoman then stands up and uses 30 seconds in the spotlight on the House floor to make sure every American paying attention understands what just happened.
For what purpose does the gentlelady from Florida seek recognition?
I have a parliamentary inquiry.
The gentlelady from Florida will state her inquiry.
I was wondering if the Speaker of the House of Representatives can explain why leadership on both sides, both Democrat and Republican, are cutting back-end deals to cover up public corruption in the House of Representatives from both Republican and Democrat members of Congress.
The gentlelady has not stated a proper parliamentary inquiry.
Thank you very much, but I think
She says, thank you very much, but I think the American people understood what just happened. I just said that those 3 Republicans, Cloud, Clyde, and Gallagher, had worked on some deal with Democrats, and it has to apparently deal with Corey Mills, Congressman Corey Mills. I guess Democrats were pushing to censure the Republican Corey Mills, and so there was some exchange. Well, if you don't do that, we won't do this. Therein, ladies and gentlemen, it's not a swamp, because a swamp has some kind of biological life that grows. It's called the sewer. Swamp is too kind. The sewer is where waste flows, where the stench makes your eyes water, where everything is polluted and toxic, and the only creatures scurrying around are rats. That is your government. That is what happened yesterday. So, as we wet your whistle with that, hour 2 of the Wendy Bell radio program on tap, already the Epstein ripple effect is moving through Congress. We're going to hear Stacey Plaskett try to defend herself why she was speaking with Jeffrey Epstein. As Caitlin Collins over at CNN gets Hakeem Jeffries in her crosshairs. Why, sir, did you ask to meet with Jeffrey Epstein? Was that not you? It's next. I hate that we have to talk about this. It pisses me off.
What's that?
That we have to talk about this stuff.
Oh, I don't like. One thing that makes me mad about these votes. It wasn't just the 3 guys who voted for not censoring. It's also the people who vote present.
Mm-hmm. They have 3 or 4 of those.
It's a yes or no question.
Yeah.
Yeah, like.
And if you're not willing to put your flag in the sand, why not? What does that mean? Exactly.
Yeah, you're there to vote, not vote that you're there. Vote on the actual stuff in front of you.
All right. Let's talk about disinfectwithsniper.com. Brock, how's that going?
Good.
Tell me what's up.
Why do you always do it when I have to push a button?
Oh, I'm sorry. It's probably when you have to potty.
No.
Oh. Anywho, disinfectwithsniper.com. You guys have absolutely crushed all expectations. Like when our friend came to us and he's like, I know you guys use Sniper. I know it's a hospital grade disinfectant. It's an antimicrobial. It's an antifungal. It'll kill athlete's foot. Like if you get athlete's foot, you start feeling a little tingle in between your toes. You spray it on it. See you later. It's out. It's out. Forget Lamisil or whatever the hell it is that people put on it. You've got, let's see, you've got problems, you got issues in the kitchen, in the bathroom. You want to make things absolutely safe. You've got company coming in, maybe some older folks coming in. You want to make sure everything is spick and span beautiful. Well, this is a great time to get Sniper, to get Knockout. You want to knock out some odors in your house? This stuff is insane. Even something as simple as cutting onions or garlic in the kitchen. I happen to love the smell. A lot of people don't. Spray your fingers, let it dry, lights out, nothing else.
I spray my kitchen down when I cook chicken.
100%. 100%. I go through it. Who knew we were going to sell gallons of liquid? Like, how are you going to ship gallons of liquid?
Gallons? How about hundreds of gallons?
Is that what it is?
Yes.
Yeah, and you've done it.
Pallets.
Disinfectwithsniper.com. Disinfectwithsniper.com. And that relationship might then blossom into a new opportunity for us, maybe at the beginning of the year. So we've constantly got things percolating, but disinfectwithsniper.com.
I think he's ordered 7 pallets of it.
That's crazy.
Over the time.
I don't know
More
what a
than
pallet
that.
is.
More than that.
I don't know what a pallet is equivalent of.
It's like 200 gallons. And that's just of the gallons. Yeah.
Wow. That's pretty impressive. I love it. I feel naked today. I know it's a visual. Because I forgot my MCT well. I forgot my shaker thing. So I can't drink my healthy fat, which is disconcerting to me because I love the flavor and I rely on it. And it kills my appetite. Literally, I'm not hungry if I drink it throughout the show. I don't start getting hungry until 3:30, 4 o'clock in the afternoon. Well past lunch. You want to lose significant, meaningful weight. You want to do it a natural way with a dietary supplement for Dr. Stephen Gundry. It's called thehealthyfat.com. Thehealthyfat.com. It's this and this. And there's one more.
You got your workout today, too.
I do. I know. I'm going to have to make it and then drink it while I'm working out because it matters. It matters. Lose weight, feel great, right? Convert fat into energy, crush your cravings, keep your blood sugar fine so you don't have the crashes, right? And it's just a scoop of a powder and it's delicious in water. Blah, blah. Thehealthyfat.com/Wendy. Thehealthyfat.com/ Dr. Gundry lost 70 pounds. That's just okay. Hour number 2. Let's see. Did we hit 277 yet? Okay, no.
Can I show that thing that you got when you go to the bathroom? The big.
Yeah.
Okay.
You want to do it now?
If you don't mind. I think it's just super cool. I don't have it. It's over there.
Oh, did you put it back in the box?
Yeah.
Oh, I'll do it in another time then.
I just think it's super cool.
Mm.
And it's something that one of the owners of one of the companies that wants Disinfect with Sniper, since you just talked about them, they're going to eventually sell these seasonings by this gentleman. And so he made one of these, and it's great for cutting meat and vegetables. That's him, a hunt chef. Check that out. Oh, that is just too cool. That is too cool.
right? I pity the fool who tries to take my gold.
Oh, that sounds like a threat.
Isn't
How
that
cool
cool?
is
So you're
that?
chopping, and this is what you get to see. It's sharp as nuts, too. Brock couldn't figure out how to put it away this morning, so I'm going to do it the right way. How neat is that? And then, like,
How cool is that? Yeah, look out, kids. Instead of the hand coming, here comes
is
the...
that the most badass thing?
Yeah.
Can you imagine if it had our logo right here?
It's just super cool.
Anyway, yeah, we get some very special gifts from people. So thank you. I don't necessarily think there's a market for us to sell giant cleavers on wendybellradio.com, but I don't know. I would be very interested if
I love creative things.
100%,
like, you know, and if people are willing to
100%.
I just think it's super cool.
Good morning, Sandriot from Plano, Texas. Hi, Pod Racer. What's up, Ginge? Deb. Hi, Dawn. And 11, Callie. How's everybody doing? Jenny Webb. Good morning, sweetness. Hi, Otmar. Rosebud. Hi, Russian Bow. Stephen G. Oh, you want me to sell? You want to sell that? Russian wants that? You want that? Well, you'd have to let us know if it's something you would want. I just don't. I don't know.
That's down the line.
Yeah, it seems like it would be costly.
5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Wendy Bell, America's anchor mom, fighting for America 1 hour at a time. Welcome to the family. She once hosted a 3-hour show in just 15 minutes. She once intimidated the Electoral College to audit itself. Her monologues are so sharp, they're considered a concealed carry weapon. Fact-checker sites routinely issue her a retraction a week in advance. Even her commercial breaks trend on social media. Her freedom of speech has diplomatic immunity. She doesn't just drain the swamp has to ask for cab fare. Wendy Bell is the most interesting conservative woman on radio. Keep rumbling, my friends. 3 hours of bold truth and excellence. You've just signed up for the WBR Army. Strap in. This is the Wendy Bell radio program.
Welcome back. Hour number 2 of the Wendy Bell radio program is live. Already, we have collateral damage from the first pebble of the Epstein vote hitting the water and the ripple effect. It's already gotten Hakeem Jeffries. Isn't that so interesting? So apparently, when the Democrat Party back in the day was trying to pick their new shiny metal object after they had put out community organizer and senator for 1,440 days, Barack Hussein Obama, to be the next, oh my gosh, I've got to get some of that. They were already looking for another one, and they found Hakeem Jeffries, and they're like, wow, he's kind of handsome. He speaks very well. He sounds very smart. Maybe he's the new guy. You know what we should do? We should totally get him in front of some donors. Let's call Jeffrey Epstein. Bring! And this is coming out in some of these documents. Well, I'm sorry. House Minority Leader, Mr. Jeffries. What was it? Did you not realize that they were trying to get Jeffrey Epstein to get behind your candidacy and fundraise for you? You were unaware? Well, this is the story that came out yesterday. Like, do I care? Honest to God. You know what I like? I like good people. I like good people who tell the truth. I like good people who have talent, who've got some God-given gift, who say to themselves, you know what? It's risky and it's going to be a huge pain in the neck and it's going to completely throw my family inside out and upside down. But I believe that I've got some skill that is of benefit to the American people and to the brand that we all love called USA. And I'm going to do it. And I'm going to go out there and I'm going to be true to my values and I'm going to do it and I'm going to try to win and I'm going to try to make America great again. I'm all about that. When was the last time you got that? Right? Well, I mean, he's polling pretty well. Looks like people in our focus groups like him, but we've got to fix the messaging. Ew! Stop it. Stop creating something that doesn't exist. They were trying to create something that didn't yet exist with Hakeem Jeffries. Shiny metal object. Ooh, he could be the next one. Let's get some money behind him. Wink, wink. Bring. Hello, Mr. Epstein, said some fundraising apparatus, which now Hakeem Jeffries is like, I have no idea what you're talking about. Well, Caitlin Collins yesterday, CNN, hairs. And she's like, well, Mr. Minority Leader, Mr. Jeffries, I want to talk about Democrat accountability. You want to talk about Democrat accountability? Because he doesn't. I wasn't prepared for this. And so now you have to watch it too. Enjoy.
Do you think it was appropriate for her to be texting with Jeffrey Epstein 11 years after he pleaded guilty?
I mean, I have not had a conversation with Stacey Plaskett to discuss this issue because we've been focused today on making sure that there was a decisive vote as it related to the Epstein files and the release. I'm thankful for the work of Representative Massey, of Ro Khanna, but most importantly, the survivors.
Do you plan to talk to her about it?
I think that we successfully defeated a resolution that lacked any basis, was not credible, and was being brought by an individual who was trying to weaponize this issue to reinvigorate his own failed gubernatorial campaign in South Carolina. It was rejected on a bipartisan basis on the floor today. That's the end of the story.
It's funny. No, it's not, because I asked you a question. Are you going to talk to Stacey Plaskett? She was texting with a sex offender, a guy who pled guilty to having sex with a 14-year-old. Is it okay for her to be texting during a congressional hearing or during some kind of deposition with Michael Cohen? I'm not going to answer that question. She keeps digging. Now, I hear what you're trying to do, sir. I hear what you're trying to spin, but I am asking you, how do you feel about her texting with Jeffrey Epstein, Mr. Jeffries? Oh my.
Yeah, I was just asking if you personally believe messaging with Jeffrey Epstein, who is at that point a registered sex offender, is appropriate for a member of the House Democratic Caucus.
That's the third time you've asked me this question, and I'm going to give you the same exact answer. Our focus today is on making sure that the Jeffrey Epstein files were released. If you want to have a conversation with Stacey Plaskett about it, I'm sure she'd be willing to talk to you. It was an illegitimate effort to try to remove her from the House Committee on Intelligence, and that was defeated in a bipartisan way.
Mm-hmm. Do you hear how he is a robot? I have talking points. I know what to do. When questions get complicated, I'll go back to blaming somebody else for something and hope you don't pay attention to my deflection. He's a freaking robot, right? Now, meantime, there's Stacey Plaskett on the floor. She's trying to save her own skin. She's like, look, let me tell you something. Like Diamond and Silk. That's right. She's like, I don't need no white guy telling me what to say. Well, apparently you did, Stacey, because he was coaching you via text message right before you went on and were interviewing Michael Cohen. Listen.
I got a text from Jeffrey Epstein, who at the time was my constituent, who was not public knowledge at that time that he was under federal investigation, and who was sharing information with me. Now, I heard recently from someone that I was seeking advice from him. Let me tell you something. I don't need to get advice on how to question anybody from any individual. I have been a lawyer for 30 years. I have been a narcotics prosecutor in New York City. I have had the honor of being a political appointee at the Justice Department after September 11th, as a Republican appointee in the Bush administration. I know how to question individuals. I know how to seek information. I have sought information from confidential informants, from murderers, from other individuals, because I want the truth, not because I need them to tell me what to say.
And the truth apparently came from a sex offender. But I mean, like, other than that, I've got nothing. Back to Collins and Jeffries. So you don't want to talk about Stacey Plaskett. I'm telling you, this Caitlin's a dog on a bone. So let's talk about you and your interactions with the disgraced financier. Listen to Jeffries twist this whole line of questioning to say, look, this is really all about the survivors of what Jeffrey Epstein and everybody who went to his island did to them. It's not about me. Don't talk about me. Let's talk about them. Does it work on you?
Well, let me ask you about you, because the White House has been highlighting an email that I'm sure you've seen today that Jeffrey Epstein got in 2013. They say it shows you were soliciting money and dinner from an Epstein. The email was not sent from you. It was sent from a political consulting firm called Dynamic SRG that says, we are thrilled to announce we are working with Congressman Hakeem Jeffries. Shoot us an email or give us a call if you would like to get involved. What's your response? Do you recall that email being sent to Jeffrey Epstein from that team?
Yeah, of course, I have no recollection of the email. I've never had a conversation with him, never met him, know nothing about him other than the extreme things that he's been convicted of doing. And that's why, I'm just strongly supportive of the effort, backing the survivors to make sure that everything can come out, whatever is in those Department of Justice files.
So you never got a donation from Jeffrey Epstein or anything like that?
Certainly not.
Certainly not. Don't talk about me. It has nothing to do with me. We'll talk about me when I want to stand up here and bloviate and be a blowhard, right? Then you'll know. But I don't want to talk about me. Let's talk about all those girls. Right? I didn't take any money from Jeffrey Epstein. Well, Stacey Plaskett did. She got $35K from him in donations. There's no record, by the way, that she gave any of the money away. Well, let's listen to Stacey. She's going to defend herself one more time. I didn't know he was dirty. I thought he was a super duper guy. Really?
We all know that Jeffrey Epstein's actions were absolutely reprehensible. As a constituent, as an individual who gave donations to me, when I learned of the extent of his actions after his investigation, I gave that money to women's organizations in my community. Not back to him, but to women in the community who needed that support. That's what I think should have been done, and that's what I did.
It's interesting. There's no record of Stacey Plaskett giving any of those donations to any kind of women's group. I looked. Zero for our Spanish-speaking friends. And oh, by the way, she's like, I had no idea about anything about him. It's like, pal, that was 2019 as he's texting you questions to ask Michael Cohen. He was convicted back in the, 2009? He went to prison, right? We knew he had sex with a 14-year-old girl. Like, what are you talking about, Stacey? And Hakeem, my, you sure don't want your constituents to be held accountable for doing whatever it took to find any shred of any hint of a glimmer of a scintilla of a whisper of proof that Donald Trump did anything untoward with or around Jeffrey Epstein. Now, you guys, I mean, you're connected, but I guess we're not talking about that. Got it. Okay, when we come back on the Wendy Bell radio program, I think, does anybody have any aloe vera? Because I'll tell you what, we've got a burn. Mary Bruce over at ABC gets absolutely lit on fire by Donald Trump in the Oval Office on live television next on the Wendy Bell Radio Network. Don't talk about me. It's not what I did. I don't need anybody helping me. Who's Rona? Who's Miss Rona?
Is that an acronym?
Is that somebody? Who's Rona? I need help. I'm almost up. Is that an acronym? She says. Oh boy, oh. Right? All right, who we want to talk about? I always have people I want to talk to you guys about, and I'm going to. Ready? He's waiting here if he needs to punch something up. Let's see. All right, so I'm going to read that later because it's got some video that comes with it. Let me tell you about Dr. Simkovich and the Simkovich Concussion Institute. I think oftentimes, particularly if we're parents, you put off making appointments for yourself, taking care of yourself, because there's always somebody to take care of. And if you're in that sandwich generation where you're taking care of children and your parents, where is there time for you? And especially if there's a serious problem. And you know that there's a serious problem if you've hurt yourself, if you've gotten into an accident, if you've hurt your head, you think you've had a concussion, a traumatic brain injury. Where are you going to go? Like, how is that? Who has time for that? Sometimes you need to carve out time. And that's why people literally carve out 4 or 5 days. They come here to Pittsburgh. They have an appointment with the Simkovich Concussion Institute with Dr. Simkovich. And they're like, I am ready. I'm ready. I can't help others if I don't heal myself. And so they go into this protocol, this intense protocol. No surgery, no needles, no blood. You're not going to get hurt. But he heals you with his hands. And at the end of 3 or 4 days, you go back home yourself again so that you can be all of those things to all of those other people. But you're not giving it your best if you're not your best. 412-366-3700. I know that resonates with one of you out there. You hear me. And you're like, I've been putting this off. You have terrible headaches. You shouldn't. You shouldn't. It's not normal. Go to SimkovichConcussionInstitute.com. Call 412-366-3700. Talk to them. Costs you nothing. It could save you everything. Everything. I believe in what he does. I've seen it. SimkovichConcussionInstitute.com.
I watched that burn live. I was like, oh.
I was going to say, okay, we're going to cut it up. And then I was like, no, we're not. You could hear a pin drop. And then she tried to interrupt him again. And he was like,
you're done.
You don't get it. You don't see that you're so rude. And it's not the time nor the place for you to be rude. I bet you she just doubles down.
She did. She sent out a tweet saying he never answered my question.
Oh, I didn't know that. I'm going to have to look for that now. You son of a mother. That sucks. Are we at 3 yet? 286. 140 to go. Let's go. Right. Welcome back to the Wendy Bell radio program. Did you see what happened yesterday? We're going to talk about Saudi Crown Prince Mohammed bin Salman coming to America, sitting down with the president, this black tie dinner. The things that were finessed, purchased, pledged, promised. We're going to do that coming up, I believe. Let me look ahead. Hour number 3. But what I want to do now is take you into the Oval Office. So to his right, where Zelensky had been sitting and was rude to the president, is Saudi Crown Prince Mohammed bin Salman. And it's a whole gaggle of press. And in this press pool is ABC News reporter Mary Bruce. And she's apparently relatively toxic to the president, rude. And she was rude to his guest, this Crown Prince. And she brings up the murder of wasn't he Wall Street Journal reporter Jamal Khashoggi? And brings up 9/11 and is just making this very uncomfortable spectacle, also insinuating that President Trump and his family business are working with the Saudis and they're enriching themselves, blah, blah, blah. And meantime, Trump is like, look, he just pledged $1 trillion in investment in America, and you're so freaking rude. And he drops the hammer. And it's like, holy moly. And then it just started, it was a raging inferno, and she's sweating and burning. And you could hear a pin drop as he calls her out, President Trump does, in front of his guest, in front of the world, and says, "You've lost all sense of decorum, of anything." And he lets her have it. Here is President Trump dropping it on ABC News reporter Mary Bruce.
Mr. President, why wait for Congress to release the Epstein files? Why not just do it now?
You know, it's not the question that I mind, it's your attitude. I think you are a terrible reporter. It's the way you ask these questions. You start off with a man who's highly respected, asking him a horrible, insubordinate, and just a terrible question. And you could even ask that same exact question nicely. You're all psyched up. Somebody psychs you over at ABC. They're going to psych it. You're a terrible person and a terrible reporter. As far as the Epstein files is, I have nothing to do with Jeffrey Epstein. I threw him out of my club many years ago because I thought he was a sick pervert. And I guess I turned out to be right. But you know who does have? Bill Clinton, Larry Summers, who ran Harvard, was with him every single night, every single weekend. They lived together. They went to his island many times. I never did. Andrew Weissman, I hear. All these guys were friends of his. You don't even talk about those people. You just keep going on the Epstein files. And what the Epstein is a Democrat hoax to try and get me not to be able to talk about the $21 trillion that I talked about today. It's a hoax. Now, I just got a little report, and I put it in my pocket, of all the money that he's given to Democrats. He gave me none, zero, no money to me. But he gave money to Democrats. And people are wise to your hoax. And ABC's, your company, your crappy company, is one of the perpetrators. And I'll tell you something.
So why not just sign it now?
I think the license should be taken away from ABC because your news is so fake and it's so wrong. And we have a great commissioner, the chairman, who should look at that, because I think when you come in and when you're 97% negative to Trump, and then Trump wins the election in a landslide, that means obviously your news is not credible, and you're not credible as a reporter. So I've answered your question. You should go and look at the Democrats who received money from Epstein, who spent their time. Larry Summers was with him all the time. That creep of the fund guy was with him all the time. What's his name? Who? Reid Hoffman. I don't know Reid Hoffman, but I know he spends a lot of money on the radical left. Reid Hoffman, in my opinion, should be under investigation. He's a sleazebag. And those are the people, but they don't get any press, they don't get any news, and you're not after the radical left because you're a radical left network. But I think the way you ask a question with the anger and the meanness is terrible. You ought to go back and learn how to be a reporter. No more questions from you.
Oh my gosh! No more soup for you! What? Can you imagine? I started getting a flush up my face as that was happening. I would be mortified. The entirety of that Oval Office is listening and looking at her pin drop. It's on live television, right? So what do you do if you're Mary Bruce? Well, you got an option. I just got my rear end handed to me for being a jerk, because you can report without being a jerk, but they don't know how. It is the insatiable appetite. It is the flavor that they wake up like a chronic overeater and can't get enough of. I have to have more. Get Trump. And he sits back. He's like, oh my gosh. So she tweets out, Trump still didn't answer my question. She got lit up on X by people who were like, oh yeah, didn't Amy Herbach have that story, the Epstein story, years ago, and ABC sat on it? Mary, do you want to play? Oh my gosh. When we come back on the Wendy Bell radio program, let's talk about cleaning up America, one illegal at a time. It's happening. Is New York City next on the Wendy Bell Radio Network? I was so uncomfortable watching that. Right?
And the Saudi prince actually answered her.
Uh-huh. He jumps in. She was talking about 9/11. Why is it that the guys, some of the terrorists were Saudi or what have you, I guess she was saying, or whatever she was trying to allude to. I was just like, oh my God. Oh! I mean, like,
let's be honest.
I didn't like Joe Biden. I didn't like Barack Obama. I would not have been a reporter in the Oval Office attempting to gotcha and make a name for myself on Twitter by being a jerk. But it's because they're absolutely deranged. That's Jim Jordan. It's what Jim Jordan said. You wake up and your mission isn't USA. Your mission isn't America. It's not about your constituents. It's not about safety. It's not about affordability. It's about getting Donald Trump. And you are lunatics. And we diagnosed you. And we're so tired of you. Shut up. Go away. Go away.
Mary Bruce got what Terry Moran wanted.
Oh.
They got clicks. They got the Jim Acosta. No one knew who. Let me say it. I never heard of Mary Bruce.
I know who she is just because.
Well, you've been in TV for how many years?
Wow. You just tried to make me sound old.
I had no idea who she was. But it's funny. You're going to know her name. You're going to know Jim Acosta's name.
Well, I mean,
and Terry. Who knew who Terry Moran was?
What are they doing now? What are they doing now? How's that podcast, Terry? You crushing it, you schmuck. What a douche. Sorry. Sometimes you just got to let it go, guys. Right? All right. Are you able to do crypto.com? Because I'm supposed to be talking to you guys about this, and I want to. Because the whole idea of cryptocurrency, it's not emerging. It's been here. It's here for good, and it's been here for a while. And this latest move really cements that reality in a big way. And it's exciting. It's Trump Media inking a huge $6.4 billion deal with Yorkville Acquisition Corporation and Crypto.com. This is the crypto platform trusted by millions of users worldwide. So these groups are teaming together, Trump Media, right? Yorkville Acquisition Group and Crypto.com to create something huge, to scoop up $6.4 billion in CRO. And this powerhouse token fuels fast, low-fee. Look, Crypto.com, it's what they want you to click on. But when Trump Media partners into something that's worth billions of dollars, $6 billion, and it's real world perks like cash back on your spends to establish this America's first CRO treasury. That's huge. Trump Media Group CRO strategy. When it's done, this new company is going to be the biggest publicly traded CRO holder out there. And they want you to know about it. Crypto.com. You want to get in on this now. You want to learn more about it now. Crypto.com today. And they're saying, let's make crypto great again. Donald Trump choosing and the Trump Media choosing very specifically where to align in this, not just emerging, it's here, crypto field, Crypto.com. Oh, here it is. Here it is. Da, 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 da. It's called Trump Media Group CRO strategy. And when it's done, this is all being worked on right now. It's going to be the biggest publicly traded CRO holder out there. So crypto, obviously, a lot of us, I'm not well-versed, as you can tell, in the world of cryptocurrency, but it's nice to know that our president is. And a lot of this stuff that you're going to hear about in hour number 3, talking about Mohammed bin Salman, the investment into chips, into AI, into that kind of AI infrastructure. He knows that the future is here in America. It's not in China. It's not in Korea. It's not in Vietnam. It's here in America. And that is why Trump Media, $6.4 billion in CRO. It's huge. Powerhouse token that fuels fast, low-fee DeFi, staking rewards and real-world perks like cash back on your spend. It's going to be interesting.
Rep Nancy Mace will be moving to censure Corey Mills today. Per reports, several Republican members are livid over alleged backroom deals that killed the censures of Ilhan Omar and Stacey Plaskett in order to protect Mills from investigation.
All right. I want to know. What did he do?
Yeah. That's the thing.
Hey, if you're
We're
doing so,
dirty.
even if you're saving people, if you're flying in and you're doing these missions to save people who are in war zones and they're going to be left behind in Afghanistan or in Gaza or what have you, that's fabulous. But if you did something that enough people and Republicans think is worthy of censure, we should know about it. We should know about it, and it should not cancel out Ilhan Omar, who's a scumbag, and it should not cancel out Stacey Plaskett. I agree with Nancy Mace.
Who bought Sniper?
She did buy Sniper. Nancy freaking Mace put in an order for Sniper. How you doing? Nancy, you watching?
Get them. Get them all, not just one. Get them all.
Hey, I'm
Get
equal
all the
opportunity
dirtbags.
truth. I'm equal opportunity. 100%. All right, let's see. Are we going to get to 322 in time? 322. No. We need two. We need 200 people. Come on. Don't leave me hanging. Well, welcome back to the Wendy Bell radio program. You know, as we come out, Brock, I want you to hit me with what you just said because I think it's important for our radio friends to hear it as well. In the live video stream, Brock was just dropping some information about Representative Nancy Mace, and it has to do with putting on the House floor a censure vote for Corey Mills.
Yeah, she'll be moving to censure Representative Corey Mills. Apparently, Republicans were livid over alleged backroom deals that killed the censures of Ilhan Omar and Stacey Plaskett to protect Mills.
Willing and dealing in the back rooms, and we actually have coming up, we're going to hear from Tim Burchett, one of the few congressmen, I believe, who has been keeping us posted with his walking out of the building kind of fireside chats, if you will. And so obviously the swamp is in full play. We've got people who are doing things that are dirty. You're dirty. Well, why don't we just vote to cancel each other out? How does that help you? Just allows people to continue being dirty or to not have justice. No one is above the law, remember? So if Corey Mills is accused of doing something, I want to know about it. Truth is a 4-letter word to the swamp rats, guys. And look, if you're dirty and you have an R after your name, you make me angrier than the Democrats. I expect them to be dirty. I expect you not to be. And maybe I'm naive, but if you are dirty, good riddance. So now we're going to move on to talk about cleaning up America. I heard something that was concise, it was smart, and it came out of the mouth of Batya Sargon. Which is not surprising because I think she's one of the smartest truth tellers out there, right? I think she's got a show over at News Nation. But we get clips from her because she appears on panels like Scott Jennings on CNN. And I want to ask you a question. When you voted, if you voted for President Trump most recently, I voted for 2 things, and it was his platform. One was closing the border and dealing with the invasion. And we have numbers that are just mind-bending. 20 million, more than that, maybe 30 million foreign people who came in this country under Joe Biden's auto pen. These are people without fantastic intentions. Do some of them want to become Americans? Are some of them fleeing persecution? I'm sure. I don't care. I don't care. And I'm sorry if that makes me sound like a bad person. Fine. Guilty. I care about America. I care about you. I care about my street, even the whack job liberals who vote for all the wrong stuff. I vote on their behalf. And if you're going to break the rules and you're going to come here and you're going to live here and you're going to work here, arguably undercutting American wages, taking jobs away from Americans, I'm not for that. I didn't just vote for the deportation of criminal illegal aliens. I voted for the deportation of all illegal aliens. And spare me your sob story. But my uncle, he's a good man. He just works. He just wants to be a good father. And I can't. No. Either we're a nation of laws or we're not. Right? That was number one. Number two was everything that had to do with affordability, about tackling outrageous, ridiculous inflation caused by bad people with bad policy who don't care, who wanted you to be squeezed and wanted to blame Trump. And they counted their millions and laughed in your face all the way to retirement. Think Nancy Pelosi. All right? I voted for that. So when I watch ICE agents who are hired to do a very specific job that, by the way, they were hired to do last year and the year before that and the year before that, only now, as there is actual law and order and action, as President Trump fulfills his campaign promise, these people will be shipped out. They will be deported. All of them. Period. I voted for that. It's not racist. It's not nationalist. It's true. So which sanctuary city does ICE think it's going to go to next? Is it going to be what? New York City? Is it going to be maybe Raleigh, North Carolina? Sounds like it. Trump admin set sights on next city for immigration raids. This is Daily Wire. We've been made aware that Customs and Border Protection are coming to Raleigh. North Carolina local officials said the news of the reported sweeps coming days after Border Patrol agents arrived in Charlotte. Apparently, they've made more than 130 arrests of illegal immigrants. These would be the worst of the worst. It followed a massive deportation operation in Chicago. It's expected to coincide with another one planned in New Orleans. Like, look, this isn't stopping. You're not going to stop this train. Tom Homan was given a job. He moved out of his house, away from his wife and his children, because he knew it wasn't safe for them. And he said to President Trump, I will, sir. I will serve you, sir, and we will do it. We will clean up America and make her great again. Here's Tom Homan hinting now, as we've heard, about Raleigh, perhaps. Raleigh Mayor Janet Cowell said Monday Border Patrol is expected in the city. Apparently, local police are not involved. They're going to fall on that sword. We're not down with this. It's just terrible. They're scaring people in the streets. No. We're cleaning up with Joe Biden and the Democrats ushered into this country. Period, Janet. Here's Tom Homan saying you can't scare us. If it's not Raleigh today, it's going to be New York City. Wait, say what? Yeah, listen.
But New York City, I plan on being in New York City in the near future. We're going to do operations in New York City. We know in New York City, me and Mayor Adams at one point had an agreement to let ICE into Rikers Island so we can arrest the public safety threats and the safety and security of that facility, but the city council shut it down. So we're going to be coming to New York City. We're already there now. I mean, teams are there now. But we will increase the enforcement presence in New York City, again, because they're a sanctuary city, and we know we have an issue there with public safety threats hitting the street every day.
And so your city council steps in and foils the plan. No, you're not allowed to do that. It's so curious how that happens. It's so curious. Why would you not want people who broke the law, many of whom are dangerous criminals, to be deported? Because you need them to do something very specific for you. Yes, yes. Major sanctuary cities also, in Tom Homan's binoculars, if you will. New York, Los Angeles, San Francisco, obviously Chicago, Seattle, Boston already happening, Portland already happening, Denver and Philadelphia. Other sanctuary cities include Berkeley, Albuquerque, Hoboken, New Jersey, New York, or rather Newark, New Orleans, Patterson, which is New Jersey, Rochester, New York, and San Diego. All places where you've got Democrats saying, you know what, we're going to give you a safe place. You come here, we'll take good care of you. And then what happens to everybody's tax base, right? Property taxes go through the roof. Your social services fall out of reach. And everybody's broke and miserable. And you've got gangs running the streets. Sounds perfect. Batya Ungar-Sargon said it yesterday on a panel. She's like, look, you got two kinds of illegal aliens. Either way, it's bad for America. Whether they're working here and they're undercutting American wages, or they're here illegally not working, soaking off of the system that we're paying for. Either way, America is tired of being the piggy bank of the rest of the world. Listen.
When Donald Trump was campaigning, he said, when we get elected, we're going to conduct the largest deportation campaign in American history. He did not say the worst of the worst.
Yeah,
and
he
the
did.
truth is, Abby,
he did also say the worst
every
of the
illegal
worst.
immigrant in America is either working, in which case they are driving down the wages in an industry because their employers can pay them less, or they are living off the government, in which case American taxpayers are paying for them to live here illegally. Both of those are unacceptable, which is why in every single poll that's come out in the last year, a majority of Americans support not deporting the worst of the worst, but deporting every single illegal migrant.
Every single one, Abby. Abby can't help herself because you know how she likes to interrupt conservative commentators on her panel. Newsbusters did that. We shared it with you. It's like 92% of the time she interrupts the conservatives and never does to the Democrats. It's so weird. I wonder if in that moment, Abby Phillip realized that she just got schooled. We voted for this. You cannot shame us. I do not feel guilty. I will not apologize. Unlike Target, I'm not going to bend to whatever is blowing in the air today. I know who I am. I know what my brand is, and I stand by my vote. Any questions? And then there's this. As we're talking about, and this, 8,000% increase in violence against immigration agents. Think about that. Ridiculous. You've got the State Department under Marco Rubio making quick work of examining visas, which are our gracious invitations to others to come visit. Like, be a house guest for a little while. You're welcome. Well, you're not welcome anymore because we found that you suck. You're from another country and you hate America and you're protesting on campuses nationwide. Goodbye, your visa is revoked. Do you want to know how many visas Marco Rubio State Department has revoked since January? Let's listen in to this Fox report.
The Secretary of State and the State Department are announcing that they have revoked 80,000 visas, American visas, in the year 2025. So far, we get a partial breakdown of those. I will read a couple to you. 16,000 visas revoked for DUI, 12,000 visas revoked for assault, and 8,000 for theft. We also know about 8,000 student visas for foreign students studying here in the United States have been revoked. We're going to get you the full breakdown on those numbers, but there you have it for now.
I have no problem with that. I say keep it going. Hopefully that's just the begin. 16,000 of the visas that were revoked were related to illegal aliens with drunk driving, like DUIs. Wait, are you out of your mind? And here we have the Democrats who are like, no, we have to accept everybody. Give them social security numbers, quickly give them a driver's license. They're not voting in our elections. Knock it off. Hurry. Straight ticket. Pull the lever. Right? And then when we want to examine the results, they're like, I'm sorry, you expected us to keep all of that? We burned it. It's in a burn pit. Sorry. Really. It's almost like we know. When we come back on the Wendy Bell radio program, you know, there is not a thing or a person that Brandon Johnson, mayor of Chicago, won't tax in order to make money. But he is putting the Windy City, one of America's finest cities, on a death spiral. Property taxes on steroids. Let's advance the story next on the Wendy Bell Radio Network.
Much like all of you, I voted for that. Get rid of them. If you can't, the thing that bothers me, and I don't know if it bothers you guys too, but like the people were like, well, I've been here for 20 years and I've paid my taxes. In 20 years, you couldn't become a citizen? You didn't even try. You didn't even try. You're sucking off the teat of America, and you're exploiting, because that's the only way to put it, exploiting the generosity of America. And I saw a thing where they're starting to go after businesses now and that hire these illegals. Okay. Put Americans to work. You'll find them. They're out there. Pay them a decent wage. They'll work. And then I saw in Charlotte that when they came in and started with these raids, or just the announcement of the raids, that like 35% of the students didn't show up. Students at the schools. Give me the list of the students who were unexcused absences. You know right where to go. Wherever the kids are, the parents are, or the guardian, and that's the easiest way to find them. Go to their homes. Get the parents. Yeah, I'm done. I'm done with it all.
Did you talk about my boyfriend, Dan Ireland?
He's not coming to my house next week. He's not lighting up my yard.
1-800-NEW-ROOF, IrelandContracting.com. 1-800-NEW-ROOF, IrelandContracting.com. It is a perk. It is a bonus of living in southwestern Pennsylvania that if you do need somebody to take a look at your roof, you're worried about it needing to be replaced, you're going to get a fair, honest estimate. They're going to tell you if it's necessary. They're going to tell you if you can patch it for another year or two. They're going to tell you what it's probably going to cost, so you have a good idea. They'll give you a written estimate. They're wonderful. They're honest. And one of the things I like most about Ireland Contracting, I have never once gotten the vibe that they tack on a surcharge based on the niceness of your neighborhood. So if you live in a nice neighborhood, they're not going to be like, well, we're going to give you 20% more than we're going to charge somebody else. It's not how they do it. They do it per job, right? And they clean up, they show up, they do what's right, and they stand behind the work they do. Roofing, siding, soffit fascia, gutters, downspouts, windows, skylights, sun tunnels, electrical work outside, GFCIs. You need plugs that are fixed. Dan Ireland will even go into your house and he'll do some stuff inside your house for you. Don't doubt Gary, but he will. 1-800-NEW-ROOF, IrelandContracting.com. Let's make Dan busy.
Hashtag make Dan busy.
Make Dan busy. He's got a new wife. Not like he had an old wife, but he has a wife.
They're expensive.
They are expensive, I understand.
I understand.
I don't know.
Hello, Wendy loves gold.
That doesn't make me expensive. Just makes me have great taste, right? Who doesn't love? Program. I think you got a lot of people in Chicago, Illinois, who are paying attention to the derangement of the Democrat leadership in their city and saying, you know what, I used to maybe get in the bandwagon of hating Donald Trump because it seemed kind of cool. Everybody was doing it. Yeah, I hate him, Trump. And then you realize that when you vote opposite that way, life becomes shockingly unaffordable, untenable, unreasonable, unlivable. Because that's what's going on. All right, so what do you have? You got bad policy. You got a low IQ vote, a low IQ mayor in Brandon Johnson. 14% approval. Did you know that is the lowest mayoral approval in Chicago history? 14%. And I think that's even inflated a wee bit because that last number was taken I think it was taken last winter. It's almost a year old. Like, how really much do people dislike Brandon Johnson? A lot. We've got the heels of his bad policy driving businesses out of Chicago, out of the loop. So when you've got businesses leave and they've got their employees that they take with them, we're going to move our company HQ. We're going to go somewhere else. Well, now you've got occupancy. You've got vacancy in your downtown district. Where are the taxes? You don't have taxes coming in. So you got to squeeze it somehow. Do you look in the mirror and say, maybe we need to cut our spending? No. What? You silly people. No. If you're a Democrat, you just ask for more and pass it on to your people. Well, I'm not so sure that the people in South Side, West Side, East Side, I don't think they can handle anymore because their property taxes just went up. Highest property tax increase in 3 decades. And now it's getting worse. Chicago Mayor Brandon Johnson's allies have launched a 7-figure campaign to support his 2026 budget proposal. Do you trust this guy who can't speak to put together a budget? Please. But opponents say the mayor's tax plans will send the city into an economic death spiral and could bring about costly litigation. Is it not already in a death spiral? Chicago City Council met Tuesday, but they did not vote on a budget after the council's finance committee struck down the mayor's tax-laden revenue package Monday. There's not a tax they're not willing to put on you. Chicago Board of Education member Norma Rio Sierra, who joined the school board in January after he appointed her, spoke during Tuesday's public comment period. And she threatened layoffs if the aldermen, the city council folks, did not approve Johnson's plan to divert $1 billion in tax increment financing funds to Chicago public schools. Hey, Brock, what do we know about Chicago public schools? Just off the top of your head.
They're failing miserably.
Failing miserably. Lots of students passing the literacy tests, doing well on the standardized tests.
People going out of town on the dime of the people of Chicago.
Oh my gosh, what? $8 million in trips? Egypt and Vegas and South America. Why wouldn't you?
Remember when they got caught? Can't find the iPads.
It
and they
was
spent
like
millions.
$70 million worth of equipment during COVID that they lost. Yeah, about that. I have no idea where that went. And so now Brandon Johnson, the school board, asks for a budget of like $375 million, which is like, for what? What are we? An increase of $374 million. Brandon Johnson's like, you know what? I'm sorry. I don't think that's quite enough. And so he puts in $550 million. What? And this new board member, Rio Sierra, she said, if we don't get that surplus money, if we don't get more money, we're going to be sending a lot of pink slips for Christmas, and we're going to put that right back on you. We're going to blame you. Really? Is that how it works? So how about some of these other taxes? The mayor's budget includes a $21 per worker monthly tax on businesses with 100 employees or more. So for your a head tax, $21 a month per person if you happen to be a successful business and you haven't yet left Chicago, which sucks, right? 110,000 gang members living there. Fantastic. Great place to do business, right? Here's a slap tax on you. $21 a person. The city's commercial buildings, this is what they're trying to make up, have lost $400 million worth of value since their last assessment. And Brandon Johnson's like, well, you know what? Let's just crank up the tax. Good luck. Good luck, Chicago. I hope it works well for you. Oh, my. Hour number 3 of the Wendy Bell radio program. You know what a difference a prince makes. How the different treatment between Donald Trump and Joe Biden with Mohammed bin Salman. What he just committed to invest in the USA. Next on the Wendy Bell Radio Network. I mean, how much more do you need to do? What else did they do? I'm sure their school board, I'm sure the president of the Chicago Public Schools has been found, has been accused of embezzlement or something like that. I'll just put that into perplexity and we'll see what comes up. Chicago.
I want you to know, you said you aren't expensive, and your girl Demanda pointed out the bar tab. I did not, she did. So you can yell at her.
One time I've cost you money.
I didn't bring it up.
Significant money. One time.
I didn't bring it up.
But you were happy to bandwagon.
No, I paid for Mother's Day lunch that we went to that game with a client. And we went to Mike's.
Wow, twice. You paid for lunch. That makes me expensive.
Well, no mother should have to pay for a meal on Mother's Day.
And yet I'm expensive.
I didn't say that.
Oh, but you were quick.
Demanda did.
Why did you
Don't
share
blame
it?
me. Demanda said you were
That's so liberal.
expensive.
You're a freaking closet liberal. It's what you are.
Wow.
We all know. Hey, my neighbor Bob's got room under the tent for you.
Oh, don't try to suck up to her now, Demanda.
Uh-huh. I see what's going on here.
I love you, Wendy. Uh-huh.
Disc Institute of Pittsburgh, pittsburghdiscinstitute.com, because it works. How about not having surgery when you have a bulging disc in your back? How about going to Dr. Rafferty and going through the therapy? Intra-disc neutrosis. Nobody's cutting into you. You're not getting needles. You're not giving blood. You're not leaving there limping. You're not like, ah. We've heard stories of people who had to be wheeled in. They were relegated to a wheelchair because the pain from a bulging or herniated disc in their back was so bad. And then they go through this therapy where the pressure is removed from that portion of your back and your discs get to regenerate. It's crazy. They grow back. They like puff up again. It's like a marshmallow that you squeeze and you open it up and it goes whoop. It's like that. And then when you're done with the treatment, you walk out without pain. 98% of people who go through it say that's what happens. 412-906-9600, Pittsburgh Disc Institute.com. Pittsburgh Disc Institute.com. Pretty amazing.
We hit 74.7.
Did we?
74.7.
All right, so I'm going to put this out there. It's a huge ask. How many of you have not yet hit the follow button? I know there's many of you. Are there 100 of you? 100 today, right now, that will click that and push us to the next threshold. Because if you do, we might be able to not only beat our end of year hope to hit 75,000 Rumble followers on Rumble, we might be able to not only beat that and the added hope of beating it by Thanksgiving, we might be able to beat it before the weekend. That's nuts. That's nuts. So that's that follow button underneath the video screen here that you see of me and my fabulosity. And it's how you chime in and say, God, I love her. She is so great. He's okay too, but she's really, she's really great. Let's see.
It's amazing what she forgets.
What I forget.
Yeah.
What do I forget?
I don't know, the brisket. And when I go to a brewery, do I not always bring you back beer? Always.
So
Just
that makes me expensive.
I didn't say you were expensive. Demanda did.
Look at how
Demanda did.
Look at how you're trying to defend yourself.
I don't have. Just saying.
Okay. Whatever, you do you. I have my own truth.
Oh, okay, Hakeem. I have my own truth.
Thank you, Joe, who says, Wendy, just to let you know how fabulous you are. You really are. And I really wish you were my neighbor.
Mm-hmm.
You wouldn't want that if my kids are outside screaming at each other. God, I'll still never forget that day. I don't know if I've been that upset in a long time.
And they won't invite you to play wiffle ball.
All right.
I'm just trying to think what else. I will say you appreciate the little things that cost time. You're a typical mother. You like the stupid wreath I made, the light wreath that they destroyed. You appreciate the little things.
Well, I mean, that's why homemade gifts are always the best.
I'm not sucking up. Demanda's trying to start what? She's trying to start. She's being liberal now. Defending herself.
Really? Mm-hmm.
There will be a pet show Saturday.
Awkward silence. There will not be a Sunday show. I will be at a soccer tournament.
5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Wendy Bell, America's anchor mom, fighting for America 1 hour at a time. Welcome to the family.
We're going to win so much. We're going to win at every level. We're going to win economically. We're going to win with the economy. We're going to win with military. We're going to win with healthcare and for our veterans. We're going to win with every single facet. We're going to win so much, you may even get tired of winning. And you'll say, please, please, it's too much winning. We can't take it anymore. Mr. President, it's too much. And I'll say, no, it isn't. We have to keep winning. We have to win more. We're going to win more.
3 hours of bold truth and excellence. You've just signed up for the WBR Army. Strap in. This is the Wendy Bell radio program.
Welcome back. Hour number 3 of the Wendy Bell radio program, already on the clock. Delighted as always to be with you. Remember, if you haven't gotten our podcast yet, Wendy Bell Radio, just plug that in wherever you get your listening material and we'll pop up. 6 million podcast downloads strong. So delighted you're with us. Welcome. You know, the interesting thing about President Trump and when he made that tour, he went to Saudi Arabia, went to Qatar, went to all these other countries, and he was talking to all of these leaders, and they rolled out not just a red carpet, but it was a magical ride for President Trump. He got the palm fronds. He got the camels and the dancers and the music and the pomp and circumstance and the cuisine and the respect of other countries. It's been a while since we had that, you know? It's been a while. Do you remember when Joe Biden in 2022 went to meet with the Saudi Crown Prince Mohammed bin Salman and fist bumped him instead of shaking his hand? I mean, it was 2022. You can't really say that was because of COVID. It was just absolutely the inappropriate, wrong thing to do. And I think it was curious that that trip was intended for Joe Biden to grovel for oil after, of course, his item number 1 that he did was close the Keystone XL pipeline the day he was inaugurated. his first executive order. Shut it off, shut it down. Ask yourself why. Ask yourself why. There's got to be super duper grifting when you got to buy oil from other countries, when you got to fill up your strategic reserves because you drained them dry to play political games. Remember that? He went over to basically grovel for oil when underneath our feet is what some people have estimated is hundreds of years worth of oil. The beautiful stuff, the delicious stuff that is truly the lifeblood of our economy. Why would a president shut it down? Why would Barack Obama go on a tour after being newly minted back in 2008 to apologize for America? Why? It's almost like you can see things now so much more clearly from 30,000 feet. There are those who love America, and there are those who want to use America and destroy it and are buyable. They can be sold, they can be manipulated by the highest bidder. You get a different vibe with Donald Trump, right? The guy is a billionaire. He doesn't need the riches. He just doesn't take a salary. He's had to divest himself from all of his businesses. He's lost untoward. I mean, who knows how many hundreds of millions of dollars. But what he has is, of course, that business acumen and the respect for other countries. And the understanding that peace through strength means keeping people close by, making deals that are mutually beneficial, but that also offer some kind of exclusivity. There's got to be extra. There's got to be something special in the deals that Donald Trump makes. And yesterday's was no exclusion. It was no exception. So Mohammed bin Salman comes to the White House, pomp and circumstance. There's like 1 million horses. All these horses are trotting across, the driveway, the governor's driveway of the White House. And it's like horse, 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 carrying flags, all these horses, all these riders on the horses. And then finally comes this giant limousine, and here comes the crown prince, flyover of the fighter jets, right, everything. They have some closed door meetings. And then there's a press conference. And the press conference in which you heard Donald Trump excoriate Mary Bruce. But a meeting in which the world is seeing Saudi Arabia giving not just $600 billion, which is what they committed, but more. I want you to hear President Trump wearing his tuxedo. He's at this black tie dinner hosted at the White House. Mohammed bin Salman is upping his investment in Made in America, the president announces. And by the way, this is exactly this kind of an event, why the president is building a $300 million ballroom at no expense to the American taxpayer, to be able to host these grand celebrations with extraordinarily wealthy, limitless wealth in other parts of the country. That's why. Here's the president talking about this new commitment from Saudi Arabia.
This opening up of the new avenues of cooperation between the United States and Saudi Arabia is really unprecedented. And on that trip, Saudi Arabia announced that it will invest an incredible $600 billion. That means jobs. It's also good for your companies, but I'm only interested in the jobs for your country. I'm not interested in the profits, but I guess the profits are there too. But $600 billion in the United States. And today I said, any way you can up that? And he said, I am going to up that to $1 trillion. So he's investing $1 trillion into the United States.
$1 trillion. So meantime, a couple miles away at the U.S. Capitol, you've got congressmen and women scurrying around talking about Jeffrey Epstein, desperate to pin Donald Trump to Jeffrey Epstein, even though, of course, you've got Bill Clinton, Barack Obama, Hillary, all these other people demonstrably already connected to the dirtbag. What are we looking for? And Donald Trump is upping the ante. It's now $21 trillion in pledged investment in the United States. Bin Salman says, yes, we're going to buy F-35s from you. We're going to buy these fighter jets from you. which gives us the same firepower that Israel has, right? Reason for that. We're going to invest in your chips, in AI, in infrastructure, $1 trillion, funding America's future without raising a penny in taxes. There are no wars. There's no begging, just respect, leverage, and it's got to be the art of the deal. Trump rebuilding the world order, one historic deal at a time, and you're not paying for it. In Chicago, you are. In America, run by CEO Donald Trump, you are not. And he says this, look, after signing this strategic defense agreement, he tells the Crown Prince that he's giving Saudi Arabia a special and coveted, never before given special designation. I don't know what it means to you and me. It means something to bin Salman. Listen.
So that's why tonight I'm pleased to announce that we're taking our military cooperation to even greater heights by formally designating Saudi Arabia as a major non-NATO ally, which is something that is very important to them. And I'm just telling you now for the first time because I wanted to keep a little secret for tonight. I just heard him say, oh, that's nice. That's another point you won today. And signing a historic strategic defense agreement, which we just signed a little while ago. So congratulations. It's South Carolina.
You heard him say that is another point you scored today. Donald Trump keeps mental tabulation. He doesn't forget. He knew damn well who Mary Bruce was, and he knew damn well who she worked for. He does not forget. His focus, as Democrats are chasing their tails and hating him and being completely consumed by that derangement, Trump is focused on stronger military ties, better intelligence sharing, more U.S. weapons sales, and no new wars. This is what peace through strength actually delivers. Treasury Secretary Scott Bessent says, as the world is watching, they are seeing what Saudi Arabia is purchasing, their alignment with this president. More countries want that privileged nation status and that special seat at the table. Listen.
If you are another country in the world, what do you look to the U.S. for? What are the sources of American power? And that's what we saw on display here today. First, there's the military. So Saudis are going to be buying F-35s. Coveted by everyone around the world, proof that they are a valuable ally. Two, our great economy and the reserve currency status of the dollar. So they are willing to put in $1 trillion of investment into their portfolio that they already have here. The U.S. is the premier destination in the world. And then three, our technology and innovation economy. Again, they want to invest in that. They want to buy our chips. We are going to partner them with some of the U.S. biggest tech companies. And then there's also a Saudi startup that will be getting a smaller supply of chips that can be built on.
Where's Target? Is Target listening to this? Is your new CEO paying attention to what is going on here? Because this is how you run a company. Donald Trump running the company called America. Guess who else was in that room at that black tie dinner? Elon Musk. Really? Yeah. Huh. Interesting. When we come back on the Wendy Bell radio program, it's Tim Burchett time, and he is absolutely disgusted by the sewer rats, his fellow congressional leaders, and he's walking out of the Capitol after they vote down the censure of Stacey Plaskett, and he drops it next on the Wendy Bell Radio Network. It was good to see Elon. I'm just going to say it. So Donald Trump he's selling access. He's selling access to a promise. He's selling access to a promise that's called America's golden age. And he's saying, if you want to be a part of it, that's great. We'll do whatever we can to make it easy for you. Build your trucks, build your EVs, build whatever you have, build them here. We'll give you a break. There are taxes that are involved with building factories and the land and what have you. We don't have to squeeze you on that. We'll give you a break. We'll make it worth your while. We'll eat it on one hand for the promise of the jobs. The jobs. The profits will come. The money will be made. But it is about, I think, bringing back the young American male worker.
As soon as they start building those,
bringing them back into the fold.
Factories.
Mm-hmm. Now, women too, yes, but it's about men. It's about men. It's about giving men meaningful, profitable, sustainable employment, which does what to the family? Makes a man able to provide, right? Maybe allows his wife to stay home, to do the work that needs to be done there. Is this old school? I don't know. Or is it just proven? You tell me.
Can be both.
Could be both. Have I forgotten anybody?
Yeah. Did you do Healthy Cell?
Healthy Cell. Thank you. I don't know how his mind works like this. It's fascinating to me. It's enviable. It makes me angry.
You know what it is?
Just
A
makes
good
me,
night's sleep.
It just makes me angry. So we legitimately had this conversation this morning. And I said to him, as I was getting ready to hop in the shower and get ready for the day, we talk on the stream like we do here, going over the rundown, et cetera, et cetera. He shows me the thumbnail, what song do we want, blah, 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 puts it up so you guys can start chitter-chattering. And I was like, you know what? I have to be honest with you. I have not slept this well in my adult life as I have since taking blood flow. And he's like, I said, I remember how absolutely beaten you would be when you didn't sleep. Now that you take Healthy Cells REM sleep. And he's like, game changer. Tell him what you said.
I haven't slept this well. And it enables you to go, like, the best part about it, and I don't even know if it's in their talking points that they give. You wake up refreshed.
Yes.
I don't go, oh.
You don't need like 15 minutes to get the pilot light going.
No.
It's like you're there, you're ready. Let's get some coffee. I'm ready to buckle down. Let's work.
Yeah.
And focus.
It's been a game changer.
I remember watching him.
And it has everything to do. Can I say this too? That trying to lose weight and not sleeping is not a good combination. That to me is huge because now it's not 6 hours of here and there sleep. It's like 6 hours, straight through.
I would worry about him with his epilepsy. You have lack of sleep. That can be a trigger, right? Exhaustion, burning the candle. It's not good. And I'd see it in his eyes and I'm like, ugh. And I've worked with him enough that I know the symptoms of all of that. Healthy Cell, healthycell.com. If you struggle sleeping.
Yeah, I highly recommend it.
healthycell.com/Wendy. Please try it. It's worth it. I remember when we did a BS board, when I was still able to do that, we were able to bring in the white erase board and the clean erase board. I would write on it and we'd give you guys some facts and statistics. We did a lot during COVID. But we decided we were going to do one. We're going to make a list of who we want to keep. Right? Remember that, Brock? We were talking about, well, who are we going to keep? Who are we going to ditch? It was a very small list of people that we were going to keep in Congress. If we could choose right now, wave a magic wand, who would we want to represent us as conservatives, as people who love the brand called America? Who do we want? And I have to say, some of the people that we put on it, I probably today would take off. Now, I can't tell you what's going on with Corey Mills. I don't know what they have on him. I can't speak to that, but and I know he's done a lot of good stuff. I know former military. He's a pilot, if I'm not mistaken. He's made efforts to save people that have been stranded in war zones and danger zones. He's done a lot. Something's going on with the dude, right? And so they do this backroom deal where they say, we're not going to censure Corey Mills if you vote not to censure Stacey Plaskett for being coached by Jeffrey Epstein during a Michael Cohen time of testimony. And it's worse than that. We understand now that there's other backroom deals to not censure Ilhan Omar, who is a toxic, American-hating dirtbag who married, quote unquote, her brother. Okay? And we could talk about what the Somalis have done to Minneapolis. We could spend a day talking about that. I want you to hear Tim Burchett. He's definitely on my keeper list. He's leaving the House after the vote to censure Plaskett had failed because Republicans either voted present, which is the ultimate willow move, or against the measure. Totally disgusting, and he is fed up. Here's Tim Burchett unplugged. Got to hear it.
Hey everybody, Tim Burchett, late vote series to censor delegate Stacey Plaskett. She's the one that was received a sizable contribution from Epstein, which apparently is legal. I'm not sure, but she also is the one who was texting with him during a committee hearing, getting instructions on how to better attack Trump from Epstein, sending her the text. And so she's on some pretty powerful committees, and that just tells you how corrupt this place is. But the disgusting thing about it was 4 Republicans chose not to vote. 3 Republicans voted present, and 3 Republicans voted no. So it failed. And what they did was they cut a deal. They cut a deal on an ethics vote on a Republican. And that's just wrong. Everybody ought to just stand on their own. If it were truly, we don't care whose party these sex offenders and all this other stuff are in. We're going after them. Then we start cutting deals. To me, it's really disgusting. I get disgusted about some things, but this is one that's really, really bad. You've got some people on there who are chairmen of committees and things like that. And that's the kind of people we put in leadership. It's bogus and it stinks. And the first opportunity I get to speak to our leadership, I will give them a piece of my mind, and I doubt it will go anywhere. But they're the most sewer-dwelling people, some of these folks, not all of them, but some of them are. It's just disgusting. It really is. Anyway, still, thank y'all for sending me here. We got to keep fighting. We quit, and we lose the whole deal. Remember Reagan said we're one generation away from losing our country. Folks, we're one vote series away from losing our country. We got to wake up. God's given us an incredible gift, and we're just blowing it. It won't be around for everybody. Says for their grandkids. Dadgum, it might not be around for your kids. It might not make it to the end of the year. Let's take our country back, folks. Thank y'all for sitting here.
It's as serious as I've heard him in a while. He gets frustrated. And he tells us why. And it's always some off-the-cuff, real video telling us the truth, which is a 4-letter word to the sewer. Right? And he says, in no uncertain terms, what we are fighting for is to give to our children to ensure that the next generation, not our grandkids, but that even next year, America is what she is supposed to be. When we come back on the Wendy Bell radio program, let's do a little pivot. Why hide what you say is safe? I want to talk a little bit about excess deaths recently. I have no idea why it could be. So why don't we talk about that? Ready? Next on the Wendy Bell Radio Network. You know, I have to say that it's usually the holidays that knock people off of their plans to lose weight. You're like, well, I'll put it off until January. I don't want to do it yet. I want to still enjoy if you can make it through the holidays on a plan, like the one with Dr. Dubiak at Body by Aim 360, this whole staying healthy through the holidays thing, you can do this for the rest of your life. You know, one of the things about the shots that I find alarming is that they're kind of like for life. You don't take the shots, lose 50 pounds, and then stop taking the shots and go back to doing what you were doing and not have your life change precipitously, which is curious. With Dr. Dubiak and what you learned through this unprecedented blood workup, and today's the last day, $99. This is it. I don't think he's going to do it again. $99, 65 biomarkers, all of these hormones that tell you the story about what's going on in your body. When you go on his program and you lose 30, 40, 50, 80, 100 pounds, we've seen people who've lost more than that. It's crazy. You don't need to necessarily stay on the plan and check in with Dr. Dubiak. You have the skills that you know you need to use. So if you do overindulge in the holidays, you know how to get back on path. And it's not with a syringe. It's with your knowledge. That is the difference. That is what Dr. Dubiak does. He teaches you from your blood work about your body, about foods you need to avoid, about things you can do to improve your well-being. The weight comes off. You start getting more confident. You feel better. It's a self-fulfilling prophecy. You're less likely to fall off the wagon. And you're also less likely, by the way, when you do want to have a good time and indulge, to not beat yourself up about it. You've got the tools to get back on track. It's a way of thinking about you and your wellness because you're in charge. BodybyAim360.com. That's it. BodybyAim360.com. 412-227-9255. 412-227-9255. It matters. I think it's, by the way, for him to launch a campaign to offer you $99 blood work during the holidays, that's how confident he is in being able to break that cycle for you. This is the holiday cycle. I could never do it during the Yeah, you can. Yeah, you can. And now's the perfect time. Now's the perfect time. You could literally buy, heck, how long did it take, Brock? 3 months? 4 months? How long did it take you to lose all that weight? What do you think? Seriously.
I would say probably 8 months.
8 months?
Yeah.
It works, just so you know. And then he goes back and reverts back to it when he feels like he needs to, and he's down, 11 or 12?
11. I should probably go to the scale soon.
Yeah, you don't even know, right?
No. But I don't want to live and die by the scale.
I appreciate that. I would be so interested because it's like a scratch ticket.
Well,
you're like, what do I get today? And then
let's be.
But if you
let's be
plateau,
fair.
it's easy to get disappointed or what have you.
3 pounds on you, 4 pounds on you.
Yeah, I stepped on the scale this morning and I was like,
that's a huge. I
had a
lose
little
3
bit of fun.
pounds. I'm not even going to be able to tell a difference. You know.
No, I don't think you tell a difference on me either, but still.
But even
maybe on the bootay.
How you feel. Like that was the big thing
like,
for me is how I felt.
Oh yeah.
And you know.
You felt it with the joints.
Yeah.
A lot.
Time.
Yeah.
Big time.
What an asshole. Big time. Remember when Dick Cheney and George Bush were talking about somebody on an open mic, and Dick Cheney goes, that guy's a major league a-hole. And and President Bush was like, big time. You
Oh.
don't remember that?
No, I mean, it was huge. Like, not being able to play a whole baseball game. To me,
His
it was a
knees
big
were on
deal.
fire. Your joints sucked.
I
You had terrible time sleeping.
couldn't walk. The best story was my joints hurt so bad after playing baseball, a game, that my blind dog would beat me down the stairs in the morning. That's how bad it was. And now I'll play. They're like, do you need to come out? I'm like, if someone else wants to play, they can, but and then they're like, well, he wants to catch. Can you go play first or third or second? I'm like, yeah, I can catch a ball.
I'm happy for you. I think you look fantastic.
I know, I do. How you doing, ladies? Ladies. Well, you don't have to have the dog in the middle of the night throw up look on your face.
What's the sound? Spoken about this in a while here on the Wendy Bell radio program. And we cannot forget. We can't pretend it didn't happen. We can't look the other way and give people a pass because I'll never forget what they did to us. Ever. Ever. I have a son, one vaccinated son, who, when his heart races, is worried. He asks his cardiologist father, Dad, I'm concerned. I know people have gotten heart problems, myocarditis, pericarditis. Planting the seed of terror in people. Not to mention those who died shortly after getting the vaccine. Stop lying and telling us that everything's okay, because it's not. And we're going to talk about that for a minute, okay? Because you need to know. Basedunderground.com. This is what I'm reading to you. Basedunderground.com. This article confirms a lot of data that I've shared with you prior, things that I have corroborated, things that I stand behind. And it confirms a lot of the suspicions that you and I had long ago, that they came after us and told us we were anti-vaxxers for questioning. They told us we were bad people for not caring about the greater good. They told us it was temporary. It was only 15 days to slow the spread. It ended up being 7 months. It ended up collapsing an economy. It ended up ushering in outrageous, unreasonable, ridiculous spending. And then there's the human collateral. The people who died. The died suddenly, folks. And the people who got cancer that we know are, some of them, on the uptick. So let's talk. Governments continue to obscure COVID-19 vax data amid rising concerns over excess deaths. How are you going to spin that? Because you can fudge any numbers. They fudge FBI crime data. They fudge violent crime, homicides. They fudge it all. Jobs data, climate change. I mean, come on. What don't they fudge? But the actuarials, about the whole cold hard data, I don't know. The FDA initially tried to hide Pfizer's COVID vaccine trial data for 55 years, remember? And then they extended it to 75 years, claiming they had insufficient staff. A federal judge forced the partial disclosure, but the FDA continues to resist full transparency. The UK's Health Services Agency refused to release anonymized mortality data, falsely claiming it would, quote, harm mental health and require 76 years to process, despite pharma companies already having access to the data. So weird, isn't it? VAERS reports something like 31,569 deaths, 53,000 myocarditis cases, 59,000 permanently disabled, likely undercounted by 95 to 99%. You know, the Stanford study, I've told you ad nauseum about that. Australia quietly budgeted $77 million for vaccine injury payouts just in 2023. Peer-reviewed studies link vaccines to increased cancer rates, immune dysfunction, and serious adverse events. Yet governments dismiss findings as, quote, long COVID or pre-existing conditions. And from the U.S. to the U.K., governments are actively hiding autopsy reports. They're delaying Freedom of Information Act requests and blocking independent scrutiny, raising the question, if vaccines are safe, why are they hiding the data? Nearly 5 years after the Wuhan coronavirus, vaccines were rushed to market under emergency authorization, you remember. Governments worldwide continue to withhold critical data that could clarify the true risks and the benefits of these experimental treatments. A recent ruling by a UK tribunal has upheld the refusal of health authorities to release anonymized, I think that's it, mortality records, too many words, data that could reveal whether excess deaths correlate with vaccine status. Did you get vaccinated? Yeah. This decision mirrors similar obstruction tactics employed by the U.S. Food and Drug Administration, which previously sought to delay the release of Pfizer's COVID-19 vaccine trial data for 75 years. A move that was ultimately overturned by that federal judge. Why would they do that? Because they know, you know, I know. So let's make sure everybody knows. The UK Health Security Agency successfully argued before the tribunal that releasing this vaccination and mortality, these records, could seriously harm the mental health of surviving relatives. Oh, because if you found out that it was true that the vaccine killed the person that you love, even though you already know that because you're not stupid, you might slink into a deep, dark depression. It might be bad for mental health. Newsflash. You're 5 years too late. These justifications have been met with skepticism, particularly since pharmaceutical companies already have access to all of this data for safety monitoring. We couldn't possibly present it to people. It would take too long. We just don't have the people. Oh my gosh, no. Suck it. Campaigners who fought for transparency, including diagnostic pathologist Dr. Claire Craig and parent advocacy group Us for Them, have condemned the ruling as a blatant cover-up. Craig noted that the tribunal accepted the claims without allowing her own legal team to challenge the evidence. Sounds so just and right, doesn't it? Much of which was submitted under closed material rules preventing public scrutiny. It's also damn dirty. Why on earth would they think not releasing data is somehow protecting my mental health? Asked Charlotte Wright, whose husband died 10 days after receiving the AstraZeneca vaccine. It's been nearly 5 years, and I haven't yet grasped the concept that my husband is never coming home, all because of this jab taking his life. So the FDA's 75-year delay, those tactics kind of echo the UK stonewalling. This tribunal's reasoning bears striking resemblance to the FDA's initial attempt to withhold Pfizer's vaccine document for 55 years, later extending the delay to 75 years, claiming they didn't have enough workers to process the records sooner. How much money did everybody make off of that? Hire a few more people? Federal Judge Mark Pittman rejected this absurd argument, ordering the FDA to release 55,000 pages a month. Yet the agency's resistance highlights a disturbing pattern of suppressing inconvenient truths, excess deaths. Despite official denials, mounting evidence suggests that COVID-19 vaccines may be contributing to excess mortality and long-term health complications. No duh. In the U.S., the Vaccine Adverse Event Reporting System, VAERS, has recorded just about 32,000 deaths, 53,000 cases of myo and pericarditis, 59,000 permanently disabled people, which is outlandish, and 180,000 hospitalizations, please. Experts estimate these figures represent only 1% to maybe 5% of actual adverse events due to chronic underreporting. Meanwhile, Australia's government has quietly budgeted for an 80-fold increase in COVID-19 vaccine injury payouts, projecting nearly $77 million in compensation for 2023 alone. You know, the South Korean study in biomarker research found statistically significant increases in 6 types of cancer within 1 year of COVID vaccination. I'm not making it up. A meta-analysis published in JAMA, Journal of the American Medical Association, showed 36% to 57% higher rates of serious adverse events in vaccinated groups compared to placebo. Evidence suggests natural killer cell exhaustion and immune dysfunction following repeated vaccination. So the more you get, the more sick you get, raising concerns about long-term autoimmune and fertility impacts. Yet governments and health agencies continue to dismiss these findings, often attributing vaccine-related injuries to long COVID and pre-existing conditions. So now we are here. Global push for transparency. We've had enough. The refusal to release critical vaccine data, whether in the UK or the US or elsewhere, points to a coordinated effort to shield pharmaceutical companies from accountability. Curious. This is a scandalous cover-up that demands immediate intervention. With excess deaths still unexplained, I wonder how it could have been, and millions suffering from vaccine injuries, governments must end the secrecy and allow independent scrutiny of the data. Until then, the public is left to question if these vaccines are truly safe. Why are authorities going to such lengths to hide the evidence? The systematic suppression of COVID-19 vaccine injury and data death by governments worldwide, from the FDA, withholding autopsy reports, to Alberta's suspicious unexplained deaths classification, strongly suggests a coordinated cover-up to protect the pharmaceutical industry's liability shield and advance the globalist depopulation agenda. Bing, 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 bing. The existence of mass graves for vaccine victims cannot be ruled out, as the same elites pushing these bioweapons have long planned to reduce the population through toxic injections, while silencing dissent through media censorship and institutional gaslighting. Did I tell you anything that you don't already know? Did I just say something to you that made you say, what? You've got to be kidding me. No. It's called truth. And truth to liars is a 4-letter word. It is a swear word. Never, ever forget. And the thing that sucks the most, I'd never wanted to be right about any of it. I would have been delighted to have been wrong. That the vaccine was going to help you, that it was going to save lives, that it was protective. That the virus wasn't the result of Dr. Frankenstein experimenting to purposefully hurt and kill us. But then came that Fauci part, and then all of that went away. Didn't it now? When we come back on the Wendy Bell Radio program, I am going to bring it all Jen Psaki full circle for you. House Oversight Chairman promises to give the Clintons the Bannon treatment. Do you really see Bill or Hillary handcuffed and taken away to prison? Oh my. Next on the Wendy Bell Radio Network. Why weren't we allowed to talk about that stuff? I guarantee you, if I was still a news anchor or a reporter down at the local ABC station where I worked for many years, and I wanted to do a story, an enterprising story on adverse events or excess deaths or what these morticians, remember when the one guy, Richard Hirschman, connected with me and he sent me pictures of the clots that he was finding as he was embalming. Yeah. It looked like me making my own pasta. Like noodles, long noodles that almost look like eels. Well, you know, when that's in your blood vessels, I'm pretty sure that there's not a lot of blood flow going to your body. I'm going to go with that's how you dead. And all of these morticians and embalmers, and we had in Canada, in the UK, in Ireland, here in America, and they were all saying the same things, but shh. How do you prevent them from sharing that? Well, you got to control social media, got to control the media, right? We watched it all. You guys were part of it. You were here. But if somebody you love died,
Unfortunate. A lot of people I know did not take it.
it's just so damn wrong. So damn wrong. Yeah, I mean, how many of you are hopping on here right now? Hopping on here with a story. I remember I put out on Twitter once. It was something about hiding the data. And I had put out on Twitter, I mean, how many people have been affected by this? How many people have a story to share? And it was like, and I was like, everybody had a story to share.
You know the story I always remember.
Hmm.
Gentleman from Ohio.
Hmm.
They called the radio station we were at. His daughter wouldn't let him see his grandchildren, and
Unless he could prove
prove
to her. It wasn't enough that her father said, I'm vaccinated. She needed proof. How fucking insulting. I raised you, you ungrateful little witch. Come here.
I don't believe he got vaccinated, though, if I
No.
remember correctly.
No, he's like, no.
That one. That's been, what, 5 years almost? That's stuck. You could hear how hurt he was in his voice. And
Do you really think people are they're gonna boycott Target? No. They're gonna do Christmas shopping, is what they're gonna do. And they're gonna try to do it on the cheap. They're not worried about your DEI initiatives. I don't believe so. Not even black shoppers. They want the best prices.
Yep.
Right? And to be Santa Claus. Though there is only one Santa Claus.
Yes.
As we all know.
Yes.
We can all try.
Yes.
Brock could grow out his beard. It was pretty white.
Like the top of your head?
Like. Clinton's the Bannon treatment if they defy his subpoenas, which it seems like they're trying to do. You know, we started at the beginning of the show talking about this, you know, it's for thee, but not for me. No one is above the law except the Clintons, apparently, except Pelosi. What? Like, where is that threshold where you got the but, except, comma? Comer said the Clintons are two Democrats that his committee has not heard back from. Right? Regarding subpoenas for their testimony on their ties to the Epstein or to Epstein, and that continued silence will be met with criminal referrals. I say go. Let's put this on an expedited time frame. Let's wrap this bad boy up before New Year's, shall we? House Oversight Committee Chairman James Comer on Tuesday said he would give former President Bill Clinton and former Secretary of State Hillary Clinton the same treatment the Democrats gave Steve Bannon if they do not comply with congressional subpoenas to testify on their alleged ties to Jeffrey Epstein. Look, if you're not guilty, you come out and you release everything you've got. You do what Donald Trump does. They said he was colluding. He was quid pro quoing. He was trying to pressure the new president of Ukraine to investigate his political rival, Joe Biden, his appointment or his opponent. So what did he do? In that hour, President Trump released the transcript of the phone call. Why aren't the Clintons stepping forward and meeting for this congressional testimony? Because if you've got nothing to hide, and Bill Clinton has said, I know nothing. I've known nothing about Jeffrey Epstein's untoward business practices, raping young women, trafficking in human beings, and what my nasty wife is accused of doing on that island, too. I know nothing. Really. House Democrats referred Bannon for prosecution after he failed to comply with a House January 6th subcommittee subpoena. He was later convicted on 2 counts of contempt of Congress and sentenced to 4 months in prison in 2022. James Comer said the Clintons are 2 Democrats that his committee has not heard back from. Just didn't even respond. Like, I'm kind of busy. We got too much going on. Disappearing people, being toxic. Who knows? Getting adrenochrome. I don't know what they're up to these days. We expect to hear from Bill and Hill, Comer said. Donald Trump answered questions for years about Jeffrey Epstein. Every day he gets asked questions about Epstein. He answers them in front of the American people. We've subpoenaed Republicans and Democrats. Other Democrats have sent letters saying they knew nothing about Epstein, which would hold in court if something ever comes out, that they did know something, then they've committed perjury then. But the Clintons have never responded. They're the one group in this investigation that's never had to answer questions in front of a credible reporter. And they've never certainly answered questions from attorneys or members of Congress. Here is James Comer, House Oversight Committee Chair, talking with John Solomon over at justthenews.com. And he's like, this is the deal. They don't want to talk to us, but they're going to have to, or else.
Mr. Chairman, there are 2 very important people that you subpoenaed early on, or excuse me, that you asked to voluntarily cooperate. They didn't schedule their interviews. Now there's a subpoena. But Bill and Hillary Clinton, if they continue to duck you, will you take them to court? Will you try to enforce a subpoena? Will you go the Steve Bannon and Peter Navarro route?
100%. We're going to go that route. We expect to hear from Bill and Hillary Clinton. Look, Donald Trump's answered questions for years about Jeffrey Epstein. Every day he gets asked questions about Epstein and he answers them in front of the American people. We've subpoenaed Republicans and Democrats. 2 Republicans have come forward, Bill Barr and Alex Acosta. They did interviews and deposition, and those were tough, but they did them. They didn't back down. Other Democrats have sent letters that saying they knew nothing about Epstein, which would hold in court if something ever comes out that they did know something, then they've committed perjury there. But the Clintons have never responded. They're the one group in this investigation that's never had to answer questions in front of a credible reporter, and they've never certainly answered questions from attorneys or members of Congress. So we expect the Clintons to come in, or I expect the Clintons to be met with the same fate that Bannon and Navarro were met with when the Democrats were in control.
Huh. So, the clock ticks. Look, truth. When you can't tell the truth, it's because you've done something wrong. Now, you can choose to hide. You can deflect, point fingers, kick up smoke, create stories to divert attention elsewhere, or you can lie. Unless, of course, you want to just come clean and tell the truth. That is the easiest part. But they can't. The Clintons can't. Duh. And so now you got Democrats getting what you asked for. You've cast a wide net. The Clintons are they're the easy ones to scoop up in the net. This isn't complicated. So who else? What will it take? And do you believe that Bill or Hillary Clinton would be arrested and shackled a la Navarro and put in prison for 4 months because that is what is equal and fair. And after all, in America, guys, no one is above the law. Thanks for being here on the Wendy Bell Radio program. Hope to see you back here tomorrow, same time, same place, 21 hours. Until then, have a great day. Peace.